It's the biggest city with the biggest park. Central Park on a summery afternoon. What could be a greater way for a New Yorker to spend his day? Languishing on the great lawn, running around the reservoir, hanging out by the fountain. How about coming out to Citi Field? That's a great thing to do on a summer's day. At Citi Field in New York, Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball. Today the Mets play the Miami Marlins. Have a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you today as the Mets play the middle game of their series against the Marlins. It's been a rough start for the Miami Marlins this year. They've lost 14 of their last 18 games, but they've got the Major League's leading hitter at the top of their batting order. D. Gordon, acquired from the Dodgers, has done everything that the Marlins could have hoped.
You know, it's funny. He had his breakout year last year with the Dodgers, traded over here to the Miami Marlins, and you didn't know what you were going to get. Were you going to get the D. Gordon, the igniter, the guy that would start off innings? And he did it last night against Matt Harvey. No one could hit Matt, so he decided to bunt and got a base hit. And once he got on the bases, he's now stolen 8 bases in a row. A tremendous jump, no chance for Plawecki. And then after getting Stanton to pop up the right field, do you relax a little against Justin Bour? Well, maybe you do sometimes. And he jumped Matt Harvey for a 3-run home run, and really that was the difference in the ballgame.
It was enough to beat Harvey. The Marlins won last night 4-3, and so the Mets this afternoon turned to John Neese, and things have not been going well at all for Neese. He's lost his last 3 starts and gotten hit hard each time.
You know what's interesting about the 6-man rotation is that paranoia is starting to set in for some of these older pitchers. And John has not pitched well. He needs to pitch better. He's been a 500 pitcher his entire career. But this is the time to turn it on with so many young pitchers right behind him.
New Rochelle's Tom Koehler is on the mound this afternoon for the Marlins. He's pitched very well, but not particularly well when he comes home to Citi Field.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, when a guy comes home to where he lives, sometimes it's hard for him to get it going. He's always pitched well against the Mets of Miami. Not so well here with an ERA over 5.
So it's Neese for the Mets and Koehler for the Marlins as the Mets try to get even in the series. Mets and Marlins, all the action coming your way today on Pix 11. Day sales event and take advantage of incredible deals on the 2015 Sonata. By Verizon, America's largest and most reliable 4G LTE network. By Royal Caribbean, the only way to Caribbean is with Royal Caribbean. By Land Rover, above and beyond. By Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. And by Honda, start something special with a great deal on a Honda now at your Honda dealer. Time to vote for your Mets All-Stars. You can vote 35 times on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at Mets.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote at Mets.com now. Keys to the game are brought to you by Hyundai.
Well, you got to keep D. Gordon off the bases. He's on a pace for a 225-hit year. Floundering, yes. Jonathan Neese has not pitched well. He needs to pitch well to stay in that rotation. It's nice to see the Mets. They've hit most of their home runs here at Citi Field.
Well, the Mets have succeeded at home this year, 20-7 despite a loss last night. John Neese will try and get them back on the winning track this afternoon. Beautiful day in New York. Come on back. Mets baseball, first pitch coming up. The season and trying to get back on the winning track. Here's the starting lineup for the Marlins that he'll face, brought to you by Land Rover Above and Beyond. Noah Danny Echeverria, remember he was involved in a collision in the ninth inning last night, hurt his left shoulder, so he's out, and Donovan Solano makes his fourth career start at shortstop for the Marlins today. Jeff Baker at first base against the lefty.
Well, we're talking about the numbers. Here they are for Jonathan Neese in his 9 starts. 9-11 last year against the Miami Marlins, his 5-5 career, and 23-30 here at Citi Field. John's defense brought to you by Kia this afternoon. Kadire, Lagares, Granderson, almost the everyday outfield, infield, Tejada, Flores, Murphy, and Duda. Tejada got a big hit in the ninth inning. He's going to be at third base for a while. And the rookie, Kevin Plawecki, behind the plate.
D. Gordon getting set to lead things off for the Marlins, who are now 19-30 on the season with their win last night. It's been such a tumultuous couple of weeks for them. Manager gets fired. General manager takes over.
Look at those charts. I mean, we're trying to make it a little simpler for him, aren't we, on the bench? I mean, you've got to have a beautiful mind to figure out that stuff there.
Well, we were talking last night about the fact that Dan Jennings has no experience either as a player or as a coach or as a manager in a professional clubhouse before taking this job. But his bench coach, Mike Goff, who's a longtime friend of his, also a guy with a scouting background who's never really been in the dugout before. Neese's first pitch of the game to D. Gordon is taken outside for ball 1, and we're underway. Neese has given up 4 or more earned runs in 3 straight starts for the first time in his major league career. And Gordon lofts one into shallow center, but that's where Lagares plays. 1 out.
You have some center fielders, that's a base hit by Gordon, not with Lagares. He was playing about 220 feet from home plate.
See the look Gordon just gave him?
Yes, he did. Well, you know what? Maybe bench press a little more. He might be able to hit it over his head, but not till then.
Here's Martin Prado, who drove in what proved to be the decisive run in the Marlins win last night. Harvey had given up the 3-run homer to Justin Bour in the 4th, and then Prado had a 2-out RBI hit in the 5th. That gave the Marlins their 4th run in what turned out to be a 4-3 victory.
It's all about keeping the people before that guy, Giancarlo Stanton, off base.
And he stints the outside corner with a fastball, 1-1. Well, you look up and down this Marlins lineup, and they've all got terrific numbers against Nice, except for Martin Prado. One guy Nice has handled well. It's just 6 for 32 against John. Prado, now 31 years old, came over in the trade for Nate Eovaldi from the Yankees. And it's poked the other way, and he's got himself a base hit. So the Marlins have the first base runner of the day, and now Giancarlo Stanton will step in.
Well, he's got 13 bombs this year, 3 of them against the Mets. He's got power to all fields. Yep, that's where they brought the fences in. How about try it again? And this was earlier in the season, but he also, if he tried to go inside, that's where he goes. Large march, stuck 450 feet plus.
Large march. That's outstanding. Well, he's got great numbers against Nice, 11 for 27 with 3 home runs. See his numbers against the Mets this season. Prado at first and 1 out. And Nice runs the cutter in. 0-2.
You want to run the ball in because you want to tie him up. He's got very long arms, so anything away, he can still hook and pull it on you.
Struck out 3 times last night, and he goes down swinging in his first at bat today. So the Mets have throttled Stanton so far in this series. That's his 67th strikeout of the year, the most in the National League.
And just like Harvey, all the fastballs have been upstairs. He can't lay off of them. 4-seamer by Jonathan. Nice pitching.
So 2 out and nobody on. And now Jeff Baker playing first base today against the lefty. Only the 5th game he's started this year. And the Marlins are 11 games under 500, but they're 5-3 when a lefty starts against them. Baker has been a specialist for a long time now with his 6th major league team. Justin Bour played first base last night, hit the 3-run homer, and finds himself on the bench today.
Baker's supposed to be the next great Chicago Cub outfielder.
Marcelo Ozuna would be next, and he's misses 2-1. Baker is 33 years old. He went to Clemson, where, if I recall correctly, he broke some of Timmy Tuffle's records.
Tuff had all the records there.
Prado at first and 2 out. He's always pretty good at controlling the running game. This is a very important start for John Nice. Not just because he hasn't been pitching well, but Ronnie alluded to it earlier. Looking over his shoulder, something one would naturally do when one sees a lefty of the quality of a Steven Matz bubbling up from below.
Plus, they've given him a big contract, and this team is better. He was a 500 pitcher with a bad team. He should be a better pitcher with this team. See Plawecki waving his finger, letting everyone know it's a 3-2 count, 2 outs.
His last 3 losses have dropped Nice below 500 for his career. That's lined to right, but on comes Granderson to pick it off. And that retires the side. Baker hit it hard, but Nice gets through the top of the first unscathed. Mets come to bat against Tom Koehler when we come back to Citi Field. first, and here is the Mets starting lineup brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. Second straight start at third base for Ruben Tejada, and he'll hit on the 2-hole again after a couple of hits in last night's game. Mets have been hitting home runs, 11 in their last 5 home games. Lucas Duda in particular on a home run tear.
Well, Tom Koehler's record's even after 9 starts, but he's had 3 bad games out of those 9. The rest of the 6 have been very, very strong. Whip is a little high with the walks included.
Lately, he's been impeccable, though. They moved him to the bullpen for a week. He had a good relief outing. He's made 3 terrific starts in a row. Those last 4 outings, he has an 0.82 earned run average. Granderson 1 for 4 last night, including his 6th home run of the year. And he goes after the first pitch fastball, 0-1. Curtis at 237 for the season. And trying to slow down Koehler right from the outset. Dan Herron worked at an incredibly fast pace last night. And Koehler comes inside and hits him. So Granderson calls time, and then Koehler drills him.
Very interesting.
First batter Koehler has hit this season.
You know, the issue you have today is that if you're angry as a pitcher because someone's trying to slow you down, you used to be able to fire it in there and they'd go back over tea kettle. But nowadays, guys just kind of hang in there, and there's no chance of not hitting them. I mean, usually guys will bail at some point, but now they kind of take it. I shouldn't say take it. Boy, Curtis, that ball had something on it. Nowhere for him to go.
So the Mets have a leadoff base runner. Now Tejada, 2 for 4 last night, including a 9th inning hit that put the Mets in business and gave them a chance in the last inning. And Terry Collins is hopeful that after many machinations at third base in the absence of David Wright, that maybe Tejada can take control of that job for a while. And he lines one into right center for a base hit. Granderson turns second. He's going to challenge Stanton's arm. Granderson sliding in. Safe. Very aggressive base running by Granderson after being hit by a pitch. And the Mets have first and third and nobody out.
Boy, the best way to get even is to get mean. Nice hitting first by Ruben Tejada. Going the other way, line drives, ground balls. That's what he did yesterday. Stanton has one of the best arms, and this ball got on him in pretty much of a hurry. 2 hops, and still Granderson. Great turn at second base and just gets into third. No chance, I guess, for Ruben. Watch Granderson first. He was going 100% and taking that chance. When you're not scoring a lot of runs, why not try to get to third base?
Stanton's throw not only terrific in getting there in a hurry, but low enough that it could have been cut off, so Tejada couldn't move up. So now Duda with an early chance, first and third and nobody out. And Lucas lays off the curveball for ball 1.
Close play. Look at the snap tag, but never gets there.
The foot pops up for just a split second. Duda pulls one base hit down the line, and the Mets take the early lead. Granderson scores. Tejada on his way to third. Stanton digs it out. An RBI double for Lucas Duda, and the Mets jump out to a 1-0 lead. So the Mets, after being attacked by Koehler, respond.
Well, we've done a lot of talking about Giancarlo Stanton. Why not? He's $355 million man. But Mr. Duda is the hottest hitter on both of these ball clubs. Baker could barely move. That ball was hit so hard.
So a run is in, second and third and nobody out, and now Daniel Murphy. Murphy's hit in 8 straight games, hitting .483 over those games. Infield is back. They'll concede a run on a ground ball. And it's up and away for ball 1. So Koehler, who always seems to struggle in this ballpark, but generally does not struggle early in games, gets punched in the gut quickly, and we'll see how he responds. And he misses with the curveball to Murph, 2-0.
Well, Murph's red hot, so looking for a base hit with this ahead in the count. But all the Mets hitters want to situationally play some winning baseball here. The worst that should happen is you get him in and you get him over.
Michael Koehler waits on deck. And now Koehler behind 3-0. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters the last week or so have really picked it up.
Terry Collins threw down the gauntlet, didn't he? He said, you older players, you more veteran players, experienced guys, let's go. We need you.
And Murphy was installed in that cleanup spot, and he has really responded to that. And swinging 3-0. When's the last time that happened?
I love it. I love it. Aggressive baseball. Terry Collins nodding his head.
That might be the first time Murphy has swung at a 3-0 pitch this season.
Forget about being proactive. Be reactive. Be proactive.
Murphy hitting .341 with runners in scoring position this season, and he takes ball 4 and the bases are loaded. So 4 batters in. Koehler still hasn't retired anybody.
Key is still all over the defense, guys, for the Marlins. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton, no one over 25 years old in that outfield. Prado, Solano gets the start with Echeverria still hurting from last night's collision. And Realmuto, they've got a rookie catcher also.
So here's Koehler, a chance to do some major damage. Bases loaded, nobody out with a run already home. Michael 1 for 4 last night. And the curveball up and in. Koehler has had no command of that curve early in the game.
That's been pretty good all season long with the bases loaded.
439 as a team. 1 grand slam. Tejada at third, Duda at second, Murphy at first, and Koehler pops it straight up. Who wants it? It's going to be Gordon on the mound. And that's the first out of the game, of the bottom of the first.
That was very interesting. No one really wanted that ball except for Billy Martin. I mean, D. Gordon.
So 1 out, and now Wilmer Flores. Flores' offense continues to come in fits and starts, but he has the Mets' only grand slam this season. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Wilmer takes a fastball for a strike.
Solano, the shortstop for the Marlins, has played some, hasn't played a lot. He definitely is a step down from Echeverria at short.
Just his 4th career start at the position. He was a shortstop in the minors, though. Koehler quickly ahead 0-2. Tom Koehler in this ballpark, 6 career games, 0-2, 5.28. I wonder whether he gets a little overamped coming home. He's ahead on Flores 0-2, and Wilmer fouls back that slider.
So he's not on top of his game. If you watch him, that's an 0-2 pitch. Ball's supposed to be down and away, trying to get Wilmer to strike out, and the ball was middle. Top turnbuckle, most of the Mets.
Well, they were energized quickly when Granderson got drilled with the second pitch. Flores keeps the at-bat alive. Had a grand slam in Philadelphia last year, had a grand slam here this year. Right now, just trying to fight from behind in the count. Double play ball. Solano to Gordon and on to first to turn 2 and get Koehler through the first inning with just the 1-run scoring. Mets will kick themselves for that. First run of the game brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Lucas Duda drives in the game's first run. Mets lead 1-0 after 1. We go to the second. Marcell Ozuna leads off against John Neese. Ozuna 0 for 4 last night. And he takes a changeup for a strike. Ozuna at 267. He's been mashing lefties. He's hitting 375 against left-handers, one of the best marks in the league. And he's quickly ahead of him 0-2.
Ozuna is very histrionic when he's at the plate, when he doesn't like the call by the home plate umpire. That's not going to work to his advantage.
Curveball drilled down the left field line, and that's a fair ball going to the corner. Ozuna heads for second, and he'll cruise in with a leadoff double on an 0-2 curveball. Second hit off John Neese.
What I meant is it's not going to work to his advantage against the umpires. It certainly works to his advantage with that hanging curveball. Nice hitting by Marcell.
By the way, speaking of histrionics in the batter's box, you see what happened with Bryce Harper last night?
Yeah.
He lingered after being called out on strikes, and then when he came up later, Tony Cingrani for the Reds drilled him right in the middle of the bat. And Harper was scratched today because the back was just too painful to play.
And Cingrani kind of mentioned that it was on purpose.
Yelich pops the bunt foul back and out of play.
Which you don't see very often because it means a fine and sometimes a suspension.
And even Joey Votto got involved in the conversation with Harper when he got down to first base and really went after him. You know, Bryce has had a fantastic season, but he kind of sets himself up to be the heel, you know?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have that how to win friends and influence people thing down yet. And that's, you know, he's 22 and those mistakes are going to be made. But I don't know. Boy, I'd like to have him on my team.
Oh, absolutely. but you wonder sometimes, in this case, as Neese throws a cutter away from Yelich 1-2, he got hurt.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't help him or his team. And that doesn't make Cingrani right, but it, you know, clearly he's rubbing people the wrong way. 1-2. Chopped out to short. That'll advance the runner. Flores with a wide throw, and Yelich is safe. Flores looked like he lollipopped that throw at the last moment. And Yelich safe at first, and the Marlins have runners on the corners.
Sometimes when I watch Flores play shortstop, I try to ask myself, does he know the scouting report? Yelich is about as fast as they get for a tall left-handed hitter in the National League. You have to get rid of that quick. You've got to know that.
10th error of the year for Flores.
Watch Yelich go. Guy can fly. He's like an 800-meter man. Beautiful stride. Everyone in baseball knows it.
So first and third and nobody out. JT Realmuto, the rookie catcher, takes low and in. Realmuto 0 for 4 last night. He and Plawecki have started more games behind the plate this year than any rookie catchers in the game.
Are Flores and Neese close? Because this is starting to become like a little bit of a trend here.
Well,
I mean that just being funny.
Mets have made by far the most errors with Neese on the mound. He's already been charged with 8 unearned runs this year. Two and one to Realmuto.
I think this kid is going to be a real player. See Donovan Solano on deck. Realmuto. So much put on their plate. Hard for these guys to hit early in their career.
Slowly hit. Runner freezes at third. They get the out at second, and the relay not in time. And I don't know what Ozuna was thinking, not breaking from third. The Mets get the middleman. Yelich is retired for the first out. Realmuto safe at first.
Well, these are young mistakes. This is what he was thinking, Gary. He's thinking that the ball is hit so softly that Flores is going to come home with it. But in this instance, especially with a 1-0 lead, you've got to know your baseball. The baseball is they're going to turn 2. They're going to give you the run. Take it. Young mistakes.
So Ozuna stays at third. Realmuto at first. 1 out of the inning. The number 8 hitter Donovan Solano steps in. Solano filling in for the injured Danny Echeverria, who looks like he's going to be out more than just 1 day. They're calling it a bruised left shoulder for Echeverria, and they're already contemplating whether he'll have to go on the disabled list. Collided with Yelich last night, chasing Murphy's double in the 9th inning. So Solano, normally at second base, then pressed into service at short.
Solano's always played well against the Mets. This is the play in the ninth. Murphy dropped it in between the shortstop and third baseman. Couldn't place it any better, and they both collided. Luckily, they kind of turned, so the shoulder was hit by the right knee of Yelich. So Yelich was fine because it was his knees, but he banged right into Echeverria.
Echeverria stayed in the game, but he said this morning that he never could have batted if the game had continued, that he would have had to come out at that point because he just he had no range of motion in the arm. Solano hits one well out to left center field, well beyond the reach of Lagares, and short hopping the wall. Ozuna is in, racing for the plate Realmuto, and he'll score. A 2-run double for Donovan Solano puts the Marlins in front 2-1. Second double of the year for Solano in just his 29th at bat.
Well, there's been a lot of balls hit hard here in 2 innings against Jonathan. This ball's middle up, and Lagares is playing towards right field. No chance to get it, but watch him. These are some plays the last 2 weeks that you don't see from Lagares. That's Realmuto. Halfway, then he realizes it's not going to be caught. So now he puts his head down, pick up here. Third base coach, Lenny Harris, the new third base coach. And he scores the second and go-ahead run. There's Lenny.
Former Mets, who set the all-time pinch hit record while playing for the Mets. Here's Tom Koehler. 7 hits and 106 career at-bats.
I mean, that's T-ball right there. If you put the ball on a tee, that's where you practice.
Second extra base hit of the inning against Nice. So the error puts a little crimp in Nice's inning, but as happened so many times, he's unable to work his way around it. D. Gordon, the on-deck batter. So you're a veteran pitcher.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've kind of been in this spot in your career.
In 1990, I was.
And you know what's going on. You know that the Mets have a wealth of young pitching. You've been a mainstay. He's not a star, but he's been a mainstay in this rotation for a long time as he strikes out Koehler for the second out. I mean, what's the mindset? Are you looking over your shoulder, or are you worrying, or are you just trying to do your job? Are you thinking, well, I got a contract, it doesn't matter, I'll pitch somewhere? What's the mindset for a guy like John Neal?
I'll take offense at 1990 that was a wealth of young pitching that was going to take my place. But I will say,
I'm referring to him, not you.
I will say what happens is that you do feel the gun. Although more importantly, Gary, I think the theme for Jonathan has been this season is that when everything goes kind of right, he's fine. But if something happens wrong in the field, or a play is not made, or they bunch a couple of hits together, he speeds up the process. He stops going back to that changeup, curveball, changing speeds. He has not thrown a curveball since Ozuna took him deep for a double. So he becomes a guy that throws the ball almost every pitch is the same speed, fastballs and cutters. So there's no change in how he used to throw. Now, you can get away with it when you're left-handed throw 90 plus, 92, 93. He's not there anymore. The cutter's more around 87, 88. It's more hitting speed.
Gordon slaps one foul, but the theme is the same.
Yes.
I mean, he's been in the big league since 2008. This is not a kid. He's had a lot of starts, a lot of situations to deal with, and it seems we've had the same conversation for a long time.
Which says it's not going to change anytime soon.
So the question is, if you're an organization that's got a hotshot lefty ready to go in AAA, what are you doing? Are you looking to deal Nice? Are you considering making a move?
I think that they probably have taken plenty of inquiries on some of the veteran Mets pitchers, but it's not to their liking.
Close play at first, but Murphy throws out Gordon, and that ends the inning. Marlins played a pair and lead 2-1 in the middle of the second. coming up against Tom Koehler. Juan Lagares sitting 7th in the order the last couple of days will lead things off. Well, the Mets made the least of a great opportunity in the first inning, scoring just 1 run. They had the bases loaded, nobody out after scoring that run, and were not able to tally further. And then the Marlins able to take advantage of an error to put up a couple in the top of the inning. And Lagares takes a strike from Koehler. Juan 0 for 2 last night, just 1 for 15 on this homestand. Terry Collins was asked this morning about Lagares and the lingering issues that he's dealing with physically, the bruise to his side that he suffered about 3 weeks ago, and the elbow problem that has been an ongoing concern since last September. And he said he doesn't believe that the side affects Lagares' hitting, that they're much more concerned about the elbow.
Yeah, I think the hitting, what happens is when you have some lingering injuries.
And Koehler gets undressed, and Gordon throws out Lagares, and now the question is, how is Koehler?
I thought it got him in the back. He turned his back, and I think it got him in the upper back. Tom Koehler, by the way, is a huge man, strong young man, but I think it caught him like almost where his name is on the back of his jersey.
Well, you worry if it hits him in the shoulder, certainly.
There's his parents right there. He's lucky enough to meet them. It's sweet as people can be, and of course concerned for their son.
A lot of Tom's family is here, as they always are when he pitches in New York.
Watch where this ball goes. Does it get him in the back? Yes, it did. Just off the shoulder,
Top
really.
of the shoulder.
Yeah, the back of like where your rotator cuff is, in the back. You know, I will say that is where you got a lot of muscle as a pitcher, because you work on bands for that area all the time. But it's always troublesome when teams see that.
Well, they're going to have him throw some warm-up pitches, it would appear, and then we'll know more.
He's got a smile on his face, so he's known around that Marlins clubhouse as a big East Coast tough guy. So look at Mom.
Mom's always the most concerned.
She probably wants him out of there. Dad's like, tough it out, kid. You can still stay out there, and the Marlins agree.
I don't think Mom really agrees with that decision.
No. So hard watching your children play. I'm telling you. We tend to think of these guys as millionaires, and we forget that this little boys to their kids, to their parents.
So Koehler absorbed some pain, but he got an out on the play. And now Kevin Plawecki with 1 out. And he lines one into left center for a base hit. Over comes Yelich to cut it off. And it'll hold Plawecki to a 1-out single.
That's pretty intelligent by Plawecki. He knew that coming off the pitcher getting hit, first pitch he was just going to try to throw a fastball and get ahead. And he was ready for it.
So the Mets have a 1-out base runner. And now the Marlins will look for the bunt from Nice, who has just 1 sacrifice this year, but 4 hits. And he has been asked to swing in some bunting situations this year.
Well, Prado is almost in his jersey, so you might want to take it off here. I mean, look how far Prado is. There
and he does, the butcher boy, but right near the bag. Solano with a step and throw, not in time. They get the force, but Nice beats the reeler. So Koehler, after getting drilled, had one go right back through him, but it was placed perfectly for the Marlins.
I thought he got a little leather on this one, didn't he? Yeah. See how it changes to where it goes? Solano couldn't get enough on that throw. And Nice is hitting and hustling down to first base. And that was the difference. Good hustle by John.
So it's a 1-6 fielder's choice on the butcher boy play. Nice at first with 2 out. Now Granderson, who was hit by a pitch his first time up.
Nice butcher boy by John. If this gets through, I don't think Solano would have made the play. Good hands by Koehler. Gary, can I ask you how do you score the Lagares play?
1-4-3.
That's what I got. Okay. Got to get an assist when you get a bruise.
Got 2 assists in the inning. Haven't caught one yet, but it's worked for him. The official scorer, in his discretion, has opted not to give an assist to Koehler on Nice's ball, which I think is wrong. Because if he doesn't touch it, it's probably a base hit. And it's based on whether the deflection helped the play along, and that one would have appeared to.
Who's the scorer over there? I'll go over there and fill that place with uppercuts. Who is it?
A pitcher getting denied an assist? Heaven forbid. Curveball grounded right to Gordon. And Granderson is retired, and so are the Mets in the second. So Koehler absorbs a blow and keeps on going. We go to the third at Citi Field with the Marlins up 2-1. Is KBB.com's lowest cost to own brand over 5 years. Tom Koehler talking to his pitching coach Chuck Hernandez and the Marlins trainer, pointing to the spot where he got struck.
Yeah, right in that back. That's where all pitchers train to build up that muscle around the back of that rotator cuff so that it will protect it. So for right-handed pitchers, probably has more muscle on that part of their body than any other.
Is Martin Prado leading off the third. Prado singled to right his first time up. Well, it is interesting when you think about the history of pitching injuries. It used to be that it was the rotator cuff that was the pitching death sentence, and you don't hear as much about rotator cuff injuries anymore because of better training.
Yeah, they know how to train it, how to build the muscles around the back of the rotator cuff, the upper bicep, the shoulder. If you see a right-handed pitcher with his shirt off, it almost looks like tennis players are so overdeveloped on the right side as opposed to their left side. Tennis players, that forearm and wrist is much bigger. Remember, it was Guillermo Villas had that big left arm and a small right arm.
And you know, by contrast with the epidemic of elbow ligament injuries, there are no muscles to protect it.
That's right.
There's nothing to build up there that's going to protect the elbow the way the shoulder now appears to be protected by enhanced training.
Yeah, and it can only take so much torque, and that's why you have a rash of these Tommy John injuries.
Well, they say chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and unfortunately that elbow ligament is the weakest link. Eighth pitch of the at bat coming to Prado. And the changeup hit down to first. Nice play by Duda. Scampers to his feet and makes the play. Nice job, Lucas Duda. 1 out.
Boy, Lucas is getting better now at going to his left. We always comment that going to his right is easier for Lucas, that backhand. But going down the line now, he's gotten better and better. And throw some leather on that one.
Right-handed first baseman should be better going to his glove side.
It should be. It's not always that case.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Stanton struck out his first time up, 0 for 5 in the series with 4 strikeouts.
I know he doesn't hit a home run every time up, but it really seems like he's going to hit one.
You know, I was looking at the stat sheet today, and I was fascinated to see that if almost a third of the way through the season, Giancarlo Stanton only has been intentionally walked 4 times this season. That's drilled to center field. Lagares back, looks up at the wall, and it's out of here. Giancarlo Stanton with a laser beam of a home run, his 14th of the year, and the Marlins now up 3-1. "14 home runs, 43 runs driven in. 4 of the 14 now have come against the Mets."
The catch-22 about Stanton is that Gary keeps mentioning his strikeouts. So you know if you make your pitches, you can strike him out. But you miss just by a little, and you get a laser beam like that. I mean, that ball left the ballpark in 2 seconds. I mean, this is Citi Field. No one leaves it in 2 seconds.
Helped out a little by the new dimensions. But the point I was making about the intentional walks is that people think they can get him out because he does have holes.
That's right.
But make a mistake, and that's what happens.
I mean, you're trying to go away and down. That's middle. And when a mortal player hits that, that's a double to right center field.
Fly ball out to right, and Granderson has it lined up onto the warning track to retire Baker for the 2nd out.
He has the ability that he gets the bat to where it needs to be, and look at the full extension. I mentioned how long his arms are. So that ball that's middle of the plate away is right on the beautiful part of the bat.
He's got that great backspin that he gets on the ball, which only causes it to fly farther. Now Ozuna, who drilled a 2-strike double his first time up. So that's the 4th home run that Stanton's hit against Nice. No other player has that many home runs against John Nice. 4 home runs in 29 at bats.
Not only uses his upper body and arms, look at his legs. Just explodes off that back foot. Remember earlier in the season we were showing John Mayberry that sometimes his back foot leaves the air when he's hitting.
Right.
It's in the air. Not Stanton. He digs that toe in the back of the batter's box and explodes off it.
Swishes the bug. Topper. Murphy comes in to get it against a fast runner. Just got him. Ozuna retired to end the inning. Dan Jennings coming to the top step. They might challenge this call. Close play at first base. Stanton goes deep. His 14th of the year. Marlins are not going to challenge. 3-1 Marlins in the 3rd. At Citi Field this Sunday when the Mets take on the Marlins at 1:10. That's tomorrow. The first 15,000 fans will receive Mets sunglasses courtesy of Verizon. After the game, kids 12 and under can run the bases in the Mr. Met Dash. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sundays. Nice panoramic view of Citi Field on a sunny Saturday. Shadows starting to creep in to the home plate area. And as Ruben Tejada takes ball one.
You'll see Mr. Koehler start to incorporate, try to get his breaking stuff over for strikes.
Tejada had a base hit to right center his first time up. He's now had hits in each of his last 3 at-bats. Lucas Duda on deck. Daniel Murphy behind him. And now Koehler behind 3-0. Today's high-speed pitch comes from Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet.
If I was the Marlins, I'd have a keen eye on Koehler. He does not look right. First 3 pitches, not even close.
Well, he managed to fight his way through the rest of the second after Lagares hit him in the shoulder, but that can stiffen up when you sit on the bench.
And he does. There's Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach, sitting. Dan Jennings, the manager, standing.
Worked his way back to 3-2. And Koehler faced 3 more batters after getting struck. Hit him right near the top of the right shoulder. 3-2 coming to Tejada, and he flies one down the line. Stanton near the sidewall, but he runs out of room. A foul ball.
Collected breath held in Miami. All the fans of the Marlins. Do not get too close to the walls, Giancarlo. Easy, big fella.
So many of these newer parks, those sidewalls come up so quickly. You really have to learn to slide when you get close.
Yes.
3-2 coming, and it's too high, and Tejada draws a leadoff walk. Second one given up by Koehler, so Tejada's been on base 4 times in a row going back to last night. Now Lucas Duda, who drove in the Met run with a double down the right field line his first time up. Ronnie, you familiar with the term "hoist on one's own petard"?
I've heard the phrase, yeah.
Yeah. Well, earlier this week we were looking ahead to the road trip that's coming up, and we put up a graphic about the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it was a note on Paul Goldschmidt, and I said at the time that Goldschmidt tends to be less recognized than he should.
He's overlooked a little.
Great player, but nobody ever talks about him. So then last night we were talking about, well, does Lucas Duda have a chance to make the All-Star team? And I said, well, there's Adrian Gonzalez and there's Anthony Rizzo and then there's Lucas.
Did you ever mention Goldschmidt?
Driven to center field, and Ozuna goes back to get it for the first out. That is being hoist on one's own petard.
That's right.
I said he was overlooked, and I proceeded to overlook him. So it's going to be a tough fight, is the bottom line for Lucas, because there are, 3 other guys in the league who are very, very formidable.
One of the toughest things to get by for Lucas, how many deep F8s does he have in this ballpark? I mean, it's like 1 a day. It's like a vitamin.
Well, maybe Mr. Stanton can direct him over to right center.
Yes.
Daniel Murphy worked out a walk his first time up. And Koehler finds the outside corner. Tom Koehler, now 28 years old, 18th round pick by the Marlins out of Stony Brook in 08. Murphy gets under the curveball, hits it pretty well down to right center. Ozuna back right near the wall to get it. And back to first goes Tejada. Murphy almost got that curveball, but it's just another deep out.
Good swing by Murph. Waited on that ball beautifully. He's been using his legs very well, and you see Ozuna looking around to make sure he's got plenty of room, and he did.
So a leadoff walk followed by 2 fly balls to the big part of the ballpark. And now Michael Koehler, who left shaking his head his last at bat, bases loaded, nobody out, and he popped up to the mound. It's got 1 run in the first inning. At the bases loaded, nobody out, could not score further, and Koehler has held them in check since while getting the lead. And a broken back grounder for Gordon to handle. And Koehler able to get around the leadoff walk, which sends us off to the 4th inning at Citi Field with the Marlins still up 3-1. Came in here staggering, but they won last night. They've taken the lead today. A lot of kids in the ballpark today enjoying a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. It was beach towel day today as well. 15,000 beach towels handed out. Sunglasses day tomorrow. You'll be all set for summer.
Straight down to Long Beach tomorrow.
Christian Yelich takes a curveball for a strike from John Neese. There's the beach towel.
Nice.
Perfect for lining your seat if necessary, or saving your spot. See, it used to be, back in the old days at Shea, there were 20,000 general admission seats in the upper deck. So, you know, you had to mark your spot with a towel or a paper bag or something, because otherwise, if you got up to go get a drink or go to the restroom, somebody might take your seat. Now every seat's reserved, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. Yelich takes one the other way. He's got a base hit. Charged quickly by Koehler. And Yelich takes a hard turn and holds with a leadoff single.
Yelich has had a tough year, but it looks like he's starting to swing the bat a little better. He did not hit this on the nose. Got this more towards the end of the bat. But he's a guy that can go coast to coast, left field to right field with his base hits. I mean, the swing's classic. It's a beautiful swing, and then last year it was right on time.
Now Realmuto hits the curveball deep to left field. Back goes Koehler near the wall, and it's out of here. JT Realmuto with his 2nd home run of the season, a 2-run shot, and Miami now leads 5-1. And for the 4th straight start, John Neese has been tagged with at least 4 earned runs. It's never happened before. It never happened. Had happened 3 straight starts. So he has hit a real rough patch in his season.
He's thrown 3 curveballs. One, a strike for Yelich to lead off. This is a leadoff curveball to Realmuto. He hits it over the wall for a home run. And Marcell Ozuna hit one for a double earlier. Waits long enough. Bat speeds up. Gets it in the air. Long gone.
So the 2nd home run for the Marlins this afternoon. Despite Stanton's exploits, the Marlins have not been a big home run hitting team this year. In fact, they were 13th in the league starting play today. Stanton at 13 and the rest of the team at 19. Well, they've hit 2 today, including one by Stanton. Eric Adell up in the Mets bullpen with Nice struggling here in the 4th. Well, Donovan Solano had the first big hit of this game for Miami, a long double to left center to drive in the first 2 Miami runs. Toward the hole, backhanded by Flores, and gets Solano for the first out of the inning. 4 earned runs or more. 5 times in the last 7 starts.
Gary, the evolution of a pitcher has many twists and turns, and it wasn't that long ago. Remember, we used to look at Jonathan Nice and go, boy, he's got an unhittable curveball.
That's what got him to the major leagues.
If he can ever get that over the plate, whoa. I remember mentioning his curveball in the same breath that I would mention Cole Hamels' curveball.
Right. Well, quite apart from the earned runs, the fact that the Mets seem to make more errors with Nice on the mound than for anybody else. Not just seems to, they do.
And Jesse Hahn for Oakland. Marcus Semien has 16 or 17 errors.
That team has over 50 errors now.
They brought in Ron Washington, and the ex-manager of the Texas Rangers, who had been a coach of their infield defense before during the Moneyball days, and he's back.
Ron Washington in that classic scene with Scott Hatteberg, right? Billy Beane says, "Hey, Wash, tell him it's easy to play first base." Wash goes, "It's really hard to play first base." 1-2 coming to Koehler, and he loops one out to center. Lagares is right there for the second out.
There's another line in that. I don't know who the actor is. I apologize to the actor because I see him in a lot of stuff. He's good. Where he's playing Ron Washington. He said, "Billy, he can't play first base." Good movie. I don't know how much of it is true, but it's a good movie.
Here's D. Gordon. Well, just ask Paul D. Podesta how much of it is true.
Well, I mean, I'm like this. You can do any movie on me. It would be a boring movie, so who cares? But if Brad Pitt pays me, it's a good movie.
And if Jonah Hill plays you, it's not?
It's not a good movie. I mean, I'm that narcissistic. Absolutely.
Now you know how Paul felt.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
D. Gordon 0 for 2 today. He's flied out and grounded out.
I love Jonah Hill, but he's going to have a hard time playing a Hawaiian. I'll tell you that at some point. The other thing about John, these 2 outs here, is just, throughout his entire career, he's been one of those guys that he wears his heart on his sleeve. What's happening in a game, you can really see it reflected in his body language, and it's hard to pitch like that. You've got to let the other team know that win or lose, hit me hard or not, I respect you as a player, but you wait till you see me next time. That's how you got to walk around the mound.
D. Gordon, who does not seem to take many offers in this extraordinary first third of the season, his 75th hit of the year. He's on a pace for over 220 hits.
If he really gets hotter than this, which is improbable almost, he's got a good teammate he can go to and say, "How do you keep it going?"
Well, Ichiro with the all-time record for hits in a season. Martin Prado takes a curveball for a strike. Prado 1 for 2, and Lucas Duda made a nice play diving to the line to take a base hit away from him his last time. Nice has given up 5 runs, 4 earned on 7 hits. Up to 80 pitches pitching in the 4th. Last start he threw 104 in 4 2/3 in Pittsburgh. And Eric Adell has been warming up and is ready to go if needed with Stanton on deck. Prado was jumping back, but it's a strike and it's 0-2. By the way, we were talking about Paul Goldschmidt before. I believe in mid-sentence talking about him, he hit a home run. Get Milwaukee. Diamondbacks up 4-2 in the third. There goes Gordon. Strike three called. The inning is over. So Gordon was on the run on the 0-2 pitch, but Nice picks up the strikeout, his third of the day. JT Realmuto's second home run of the year, a 2-run shot, extends the Miami lead. 5-1 Marlins in the fourth. Trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Listen, I've been there before. There's no answers. The only answer you get is in the ground. What does that mean? Through hard work. You just keep you keep running the miles. You keep working on the side. You keep figuring it out until you're making the pitches you want to make. There's no secret that only a few people know. It's first pitch strike, first out of the inning. Quality pitches. If you miss, it's down, not up.
Wilmer Flores leading off the home fourth. Flores with the bases loaded, one out in the first, grounded into an inning-ending double play, and Tom Koehler has been working with the lead ever since. Flores drills a base hit, and that's how the bottom of the fourth begins. Fourth hit against Koehler, and the Mets have the leadoff man on for the third time in those 4 innings.
A little hanging slider right in the middle of the plate. A nice swing by Wilmer Flores in these shadows. Waits long enough, and he's got quick hands. He talks about his quick hands all the time.
And loves that ball up.
The only other thing I would mention about Nice, and it doesn't only hold the Nice.
Lagares goes the other way for a base hit, and the Mets have something cooking here in the fourth.
The only other thing I would mention real quickly, and that's got something brewing here, is that the Mets pitchers are strike throwers. They don't walk a lot of hitters. That's great. But there's a lot of comfortable swings up there. So at some point, you've got to say to yourself, okay, great, we're throwing strikes. We're not walking anybody. We're the kind of team that's not going to give a free pass. But you can't have those guys comfortable because they're like strike, strike, strike. You got every once in a while back them up and say, hey, listen, do not get over and lean over that plate. Back up a little bit and we'll go after this again. Because you got to own the outside corner. You got no chance.
There's Kevin Plawecki with 2 on and nobody out. And he takes a curveball off the play from Koehler. Plawecki, after Koehler got drilled by Lagares' line drive in the shoulder, jumped on the first pitch and got a base hit to left center his first time up. It's trying to fight back from 4 runs down. They've got a couple on. Danny Muno is out on deck to bat for Nice. And another curve from Koehler. This one in for a strike. So Nice appears to be done after 4 innings of work. Another abbreviated start for John. And there's Muno, the switch hitter, waiting on deck. He's still hoping that situation provides him a chance to swing the bat and stay in the game. Koehler ahead on Plawecki, 1-2. And he bounces that one, and Realmuto does a nice job to keep it in front of him.
We've seen this for the first 2 games of this series. This kid is just aces behind the plate. The ball's coming. He knows it's going to be short. He comes up on it a little bit. Ball catches him high on the chest protector, but still has his body formed like a concave to make sure that stays in front.
The ball misses inside. Now it's a full count to Plawecki. Realmuto's a terrific athlete. He was a quarterback back in Oklahoma, and saw what he can do with the bat his last at bat, and he has been terrific behind the plate. 3-2, nobody out. And another curveball. This one gets him looking. So Koehler kept going back to the curveball. Plawecki didn't like the call, but that's the first out of the inning.
See, the issue is here. The 2-2 pitch was a better pitch than that one. 2-2 pitch was a fastball, and DeMuro missed it. Now, did he make up for it by calling that one? I don't know. It could have. I think Plawecki sees it as high. I think the pitch prior to that was a better pitch. Koehler thought it was a strike. He gets the call from DeMuro on the 3-2.
So 1 out of the inning, and Danny Muno will be the pinch hitter. As you look at the umpiring crew, Mark Carlson, the crew chief, working over at third. It's a relatively young crew. Muno takes Sloan away for ball 1. Danny got a start at third base in the final game of the Phillies series. Went 0 for 3 and a walk. Just 1 for 14 to start its big league career. And Koehler falls behind him 2-0. Just made Koehler look like he's uncomfortable in his landing area.
He's uncomfortable in his landing area. He's moving his body around. He's just not comfortable. And he's 2-0 on everybody, it seems like. I don't know if it was from the hit prior, pitching in his home state.
And now it's 3-0 to Muno with Granderson on deck. You know, the nature of this game could change in a hurry. Flores at second, Lagares at first with 1 out. Muno, you can be assured, he will take a pitch. And it's way up high for ball 4. Now Granderson will come to the plate as the tying run. So the Mets load the bases for the second time this afternoon. And Chuck Hernandez, the Marlins pitching coach, will come out to have a look.
Well, he's doing a couple of things basically wrong physically. He's opening up that front shoulder. He's following through to first base. He's not going straight for the mound through the plate. I don't know whether it's because he got hit. Hernandez is going to try to straighten him out here, though, with the bases loaded.
Nobody up in the Marlins bullpen, at least not as of yet.
And Curtis has been hot. 1 swing of the bat, Mets back in business.
Well, Koehler began this day in trouble. He hit Granderson with a pitch. Gave up base hits to Tejada and Duda. Mets had a run in, but he was able to right himself. Mets have had plenty of traffic, but still just the 1 run. And Granderson trying to change that. Flores at third, Lagares at second, and Muno at first with 1 out. Solano was right behind the bag at second as Granderson takes a strike. Curtis 0 for 1. He grounded out to second base his last time up. In his 6th home run of the year in the game last night. In the air, left center field. Over toward the gap. Yelich onto the track near the wall. He can't get it. It's an extra base hit. Flores will score. Everybody else moves up 1 base. Everybody was tagging, thinking that that ball was going to be caught. Instead, it carries and hits off the wall. The wind really got a hold of that. And Granderson winds up with an RBI single to make it 5-2. 2.
A grand slam that, almost a grand slam that turns into a single here. Know a lot about that Mets uniforms. Just hits off the wall just below the orange mark. Almost to me, Yelich tried to time it instead of getting all the way back there. And I don't know, I would not have tagged if I was Muno. Certainly would have been halfway.
So a run is in. Now the tying run's on base for Tejada. And he drives one to the gap in left center, chasing Ozuna. He won't get there. It's all the way back to the wall. Lagares scores. Muno scores. Here comes Granderson. And the game is tied. A 3-run double for Ruben Tejada. Talk about playing your way back into the good graces.
Not only playing your way, one, just jumping all over this first pitch and splitting the outfield. And this ball gets past Ozuna, who took kind of a bad angle. By the time he gets in, no tagging for Granderson. He's almost at second base by the time that ball hits on the grass and scores easily, with Tuffle sending him. This is Granderson said earlier. Yelich, no chance, bounces off the wall. So does Yelich.
So the Mets have made up a 4-run deficit here in the 4th inning and gotten even at 5. Lucas Duda, who drove in the Mets' first run today with a double, backs with Tejada at second and 1 out. So John Deese off the hook. He can now neither win nor lose. And Duda takes a fastball for a strike. There is warm-up action now in the Marlins bullpen. Chuck Hernandez came out to take Koehler's temperature, and he hasn't retired anybody since. Vin Mazzara was up for Miami.
That said, he looked uncomfortable last inning. I was premature by 1. Ruben Tejada, 9th life with a chance to be a starting player again.
And the Koehler parents not happy. And now he's behind on Duda, 3-1 with Murphy on deck. Mets led 1-0, trailed 5-1, but they've scored 4 times here in the 4th. 4th has been magic for the Mets this year. They had a 10-run 4th inning, a 7-run 4th inning. They've scored more runs in the 4th than in any other inning. And that's a strike, 3-2.
They've scored 4 more in the 4th than the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd inning combined.
52 runs now in the 4th inning this season. Three and 2 to Duda. And Lucas tries to lay off, and he did. Ball 4. 3rd walk of the inning for Koehler. And his 4th walk of the game. And now Daniel Murphy will come up with 2 on and still only 1 out.
I wouldn't let this young man go any further, considering he was hit by the baseball. Doesn't look comfortable.
Well, Hernandez is going to check with the bullpen, make sure Mazzara is ready. Jennings just told Realmuto to go out to the mound and kill some time.
He's been out there for 10-12 minutes. He should be ready by now.
And now they'll make the move. So they got the word from Reed Cornelius, the Miami bullpen coach, that Mazzara was ready to go. And so Koehler's afternoon comes to a premature close. Mets have scored 4 times here in the bottom of the 4th to get even at 5. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable 4G LTE network. We'll be back to Citi Field in just a moment. Road game against the Braves on the outfield with food and beverages, and receive a game ticket to the July 28th Mets Padres game. To sleep over at Citi Field, visit Mets.com/sleepover.
Well, see, this game so far for Vin Mazzaro, sorry, Gary, came up, recalled from New Orleans on May 23rd, appeared in a couple games, no walks.
The pride of Rutherford High School in Jersey. Daniel Murphy, 8th man up in the inning. Mets have 4 runs home, and he takes a strike from Mazzaro. Daniel has walked and fly deep to center field, and in deep conversation with Mike DeMuro after that strike call.
Murph's going to work at the UN when he's all done.
He's very pleasant,
yes.
but he says more words to umpires than anybody in baseball. 1-1 to Murph with Michael Kadire on deck.
It's going to be like Philip Habib or Dag Hammarskjöld or something. He's going to have one of those jobs.
Tejada the go-ahead run at second. Duda at first with 1 out. Michael Kadire on deck. And Murphy slashes 1 foul. And it's 1-2. The inning began with Wilmer Flores hitting a bullet to left field for a base hit. Lagares had one the other way. With 1 out, Muto walked as a pinch hitter. Granderson hit a ball that just carried out to left field and hit high off the wall for what turned out to be a single. And then Ruben Tejada cleared the bases with a double. And Tom Koehler, who got smacked in the shoulder by a line drive back in the 2nd inning, forced to leave. Murphy gets under 1 to center, and Ozuna is there to grab it. 2 out.
Well, Murph's hit a couple of home runs in the last couple of weeks, and this ball up in the strike zone, it's straight up in the air. Frustration results in a bat flip.
You got your positive bat flips, you got your negative bat flips. So now Michael Kadire, the 9th man up in the inning. Kadire has popped up and grounded out today, 0 for 2. Batting here with 2 out and 2 on. And he takes a strike from Mazzaro. Koehler hoping Mazzaro can strand his runners. Otherwise, he could be the losing pitcher in this game. And a check swing foul, and it's 0-2 to Kadire.
I know that is probably a small thought for a pitcher as he's sitting there, but the big thought is, cannot believe I had a 5-1 lead and I let it get away. I mean, those are the things that occupy your mind.
Mazzaro ahead 0-2. And Kadire drives 1 to right. Stanton chases over, though, and gets there to make the running catch. And that retires the side. But the Mets with a big 4th inning, able to tie the game. Video recap brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Granderson barely missed a grand slam. And then Tejada drove home 3. 5-5 as we go to the 5th at Citi Field. Reminding you to drive responsibly. A wild one early in this game. Mets took an early lead. Marlins took a 4-run lead against John Deese, couple of home runs, but the Mets fight back with a 4-run fourth, and we start the fifth inning even on a sunny afternoon at Citi Field. And Aaron Goodell will make the relief appearance.
His numbers outstanding early on. Struggled a little in his last couple of games. Good curveball, which I'm sure he'll feature against the slugger Stanton here.
Finished off the Phillies on Wednesday afternoon with a scoreless inning, couple of strikeouts. Giancarlo Stanton homered his last time up, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Stanton hit one over the fence in right center for his 14th of the year. Wasn't wearing the protective device against the left-hander, only wears it against right-handed pitching, so he dons it now with Goodell in the game. Stanton's home run was his 20th career home run against the Mets. He's a third of the way to Stargell.
Don't laugh.
Well, I mean, Mets will be playing the Marlins 19 times a year for the foreseeable future. And he's not going anywhere, having signed a 13-year contract?
Yes.
13. That's lined and caught, almost knocking Tejada into the outfield. And his line drives can produce fear.
Curveball through the shadows down the middle, and a line drive there right at Tejada. We always talk about the shadows for the hitters. Can't be very good for the fielders either, with the ball moving that fast.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Jeff Baker has hit a couple of balls well to right field today. He takes a strike. Lined out to right, then hit one of the warning track that Granderson caught. Not sure exactly what direction the wind is blowing in because it swirls so much here, but every inning as we go along, more and more papers are being blown around the ballpark. So it's gusty out there, and it certainly has affected some of the balls in play so far today. I know Granderson's ball in particular really seemed to fool Yelich.
I thought that was an F7 off the bat.
And so did he, and so did all the base runners who tagged up, figuring for sure the ball would be caught. Went down to the south today, but you never know in this park. Top foul. It seems with most of these newer ballparks, with so many gaps and strange configurations, that there are all sorts of wind currents. Goodell had 1 and 2 on Baker, and he misses away. So Deese's final line: 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, no walks, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs, no decision. 2-2. Curveball hit back past the mound. Murphy on the backhand has time and throws out Baker, 2 away. So 2 out and nobody out. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve.
Gary, you guys were talking a little bit about it earlier in the broadcast. New third base coach for the Marlins is Lenny Harris, former Met and former a lot of different teams. He played for 8 teams in his big league career, 18 total years. But he said the most fun he's ever had was when he was here with the Mets, and that includes being on the 2003 World Series championship team with the Marlins. Said it wasn't about the winning. The team was really good when he was here, obviously, with the Mets. But he said it was the best group of guys that he's ever played with. They had so much fun. Also loved playing for Bobby Valentine, of course, because as a bench player, you had to prepare like you were a starter. You never knew when you were going to get in the game, but you knew there was probably a pretty good chance you were going to get in the game. Even if you were a starting pitcher who wasn't pitching on that day, Lenny said some of his favorite times were when Bobby Valentine used to tell the starting pitchers, hey, keep your spikes on. We may use you as a pinch hitter, except for you, Al Leiter. You're useless to me up there.
And that was the truth. 212 pinch hits, the all-time leader, Lenny Harris. Ozuna rolls one out to Flores, and so Eric Goodell comes in and cobbles together a 1-2-3 top of the 5th. It gets us halfway through here at Citi Field. The Mets and Marlins all tied up at 5. Arenado's driven in a couple of runs. Rockies lead the Phillies in the 8th. 2 home runs for Paul Goldschmidt. Promise we won't overlook him again. Brewers on the verge of their 7th straight loss. Nats and Reds tied at 2. Your first place Giants have Tim Lincecum on the mound. Giants started out 4-10.
21 wins in May.
So they're 26-10 since that 4-10 start. Wilmer Flores led off in the 4th inning, and he leads off again in the 5th. And that's always good news. Flores had a base hit, scored a run to initiate the Mets' 4-run 4th inning that got the game tied. Juan Lagares on deck, Kevin Plawecki behind him. Mets facing Vin Mazzaro, and it's grounded down to first. Baker will take it himself to retire Flores one away.
You know, regarding the Giants, we always talk about Wilmer Flores and his home run power, Johnny Peralta being an offensive shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki. It's Brandon Crawford who's having the best shortstop year so far in all of baseball.
And by the way, he's also an elite fielder.
Elite.
There's Lagares, who singled to right and scored a run in that big 4th inning. He's also the guy who hit the ball off Koehler's shoulder that seemed to put a crimp in his afternoon. It'd be interesting to hear from Tom afterward to see how much of a factor that was in his day. He was able to persevere for a while, but eventually got knocked out in the 4th inning. But the bottom line on Lagares is he's hit 2 balls hard today. And this is the best day he's had swinging the bat so far in a couple of weeks. Kevin Plawecki on deck. Vin Mazzaro, now 28 years old, born in Hackensack. High school in Rutherford. 3rd round pick by the A's back in 05. Played for the Pirates the last couple of years. And just getting his feet wet with Miami. And will earn a lot of brownie points if he can give the Marlins 2 or 3 good innings.
Yes. Played in Kansas City. We saw him when he was in a Pirate uniform. We saw him more often when he was in a Pirate uniform.
Came up as a starter with Oakland.
I will always remember, and I feel bad for Vin that this is the only thing I'll remember, but one time for Kansas City he had to be one of those pitchers who had to eat up an inning. Ended up giving up, I think, 11 runs in the inning.
I think that's right. That was in 2011. Just one of those days. Long turn at bat here for Lagares, and he works it even. Tom Koehler wound up going 3 1/3, allowed 5 runs, 7 hits, 4 walks, 1 strikeout, 1 hit by pitch. Mazzaro has retired his first 3 batters. And Lagares hits one to center. On comes Ozuna, and that's the 2nd out.
Ozuna, since the last time we saw him, has playing a lot more shallow. When he first started this season, he was playing as deep could be, but he's come in about 20-30 steps, 20 steps.
Maybe he's been watching Lagares.
He'd be like Juan.
Why wouldn't he want to be? Here's Plawecki, who singled and struck out 1 for 2. And he pops one up foul, coming back Realmuto, but that's in the crowd. So if Plawecki gets on base, Eric Goodell would be next, and he's never batted in a major league game.
You can see he's trying to get, where do I put my fingers? Yeah, how do I hold it? Okay, it's not bad.
I mean, the gauntlet has been laid down here for all the bad pitchers. Alex Torres is up in the bullpen. I mean, after watching Syndergaard's home run here on Wednesday, nothing will ever be the same.
I also watched Syndergaard with the other pitchers a couple of days ago having batting practice with the other pitchers. I would feign a flu when the batters have batting practice.
In foul territory, Prado comes in to get it. And that retires the side. So Mazzaro's retired 5 in a row in relief. And we've played 5 innings at Citi Field. Goodell will have to wait for that first big league plate appearance. Still 5-5. Entering for returning veterans, the Mets were challenged by John Stewart to do 20 push-ups or jumping jacks, the outlet for the jumping jacks. Not quite sure why. Anyway, they did that, and then they issued their own challenge to Jimmy Kimmel and to the Washington Nationals to follow suit. So that's their tribute to returning veterans, and they did that before the game today. Christian Yelich leads off in the 6th inning against Eric Goodell in a 5-5 game. And Goodell pours over a fastball. Yelich 1 for 2, reached on an air and singled to left. He scored a run today. Each team with 5 runs and 7 hits through the first 5 innings. Both starting pitchers long gone. John East lasted 4 innings. Tom Koehler lasted 3 1/3. The Mets have not had too many games like this season. We were just talking when we were in Pittsburgh about how, if the Mets don't get a good start, they've had trouble winning. There just haven't been a lot of those 9-7 games.
Not only for them, but there has been a lot of games where both starters do not factor into the game.
Right. I mean, they've had some lopsided wins. They've had a few lopsided losses, but none of those, back and forth, slug it out kind of games.
This is where the bullpen is going to decide this ball game.
Yelich, then Realmuto and Solano, 6, 7, and 8 in the Marlins order here in the 6th. Strike 3 call. Yelich caught looking, and Goodell has his first strikeout in relief.
It almost looked like Yelich could not pick up the baseball. The shadows playing a big part, but also that big snap curveball by Goodell played a big part also. Remember, very difficult also for the umpire through these shadows to make the call. DeMuro has done a fine job.
Brian Morris, next man up in the Miami bullpen. They got the papers and the plastic bags blowing by too. That can't help. JT Realmuto had a 2-run homer his last time up, and then Goodell challenges him upstairs. Realmuto's home run was his 2nd, and the 2nd given up by John Neese today. Down the right field side toward the short wall. Wind blowing in. It falls for a base hit and hops into the stands for a ground rule double. Well, all the elements conspiring here today. You got sun, you got wind, and that time none of the 3 fielders seemed to have a good idea where that was going to come down.
Off the bat, that ball was going in the stands. You see with the guy with the chair, the ball boy, he didn't know where to go. That ball started over his head, and the wind blew it back into play and right in the Bermuda Triangle. Nowhere for anyone to make that play.
So Realmuto winds up with his second extra base hit of the day, and did it with the plastic bag right between the mound and home plate as he swung the bat.
Concentration.
So the tie-breaking run at second with one out, and the number 8 hitter Donovan Solano, who had a long double to drive in 2 runs back in the second inning. Ichiro Suzuki is out on deck to bat for the pitcher Mazzaro. And the curveball from Goodell misses for ball 1. So Goodell had retired his first 4 batters before that pop fly double. There's Ichiro on deck.
Ryan Dempster used to wiggle his glove a little bit when he put the ball in there. Goodell does that too, because he's got a curve and a split finger. So when he brings the ball, his hand with the ball to the glove, he'll give it a little wiggle. So every single time you don't know what he's throwing. Holt gets a split finger grip, gets a sign, and when he brings it to his glove, he'll just give it just enough of a wiggle to put the hitter off. Open, close, ready to go.
Taking off early. The throw to third can't be handled by Tejada, and safe is Realmuto. Well, Realmuto got a walking lead, and Goodell able to sniff it out, but did not make a good throw, and Tejada couldn't pull it out of the dirt.
Well, you hear that he's going, and you can see he takes that kind of half windup, not windup, but out of the stretch like he was going to make the pickoff at second. And all he had to do is throw a strike over there, and he has Realmuto dead to rights, but he bounced it.
Infield comes in, and the high fastball beats Solano 1-2.
There's really nothing you can do. I mean, you're 40 feet away, 30 feet away. You should be able to throw a strike there.
They're going to give Realmuto credit for a stolen base, which is a gift. Needing a strikeout, Goodell gets exactly what he needed. Plawecki checks the runner, makes the throw, 2 out. There's a big strikeout for Eric Goodell. 2 out in the inning.
Well, beautifully placed curveball. If you get ahead in the count, bounce it. Have faith in your catcher is going to keep it in front of him, which Plawecki does. Looks the runner back, steps out into fair territory, and makes the play.
So now Ichiro Suzuki announced into the game.
Plawecki should be telling his pitcher a couple of things. Oh, here comes Terry Collins, who's going to talk and probably bring in the left-hander to face Ichiro.
He's had Alex Torres, now and Jack Leathersich warming up. And so it's Leathersich that's going to come into the game to face Ichiro with the go-ahead run at third in a 5-5 game in the 6th. Called to the bullpen, brought to you by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable 4G LTE network. especially if you're enjoying your hot dog.
He's very comfortable there. The mom pointing out that she made the billboard or made the TV camera.
Sunny late afternoon in New York. Shadows and the wind all playing a factor today. Jack Leathersich comes in to make his 8th appearance.
Well, throughout the numbers, the most important is when you bring in a reliever as a manager, he needs to get the first hitter out. That is the most important factor of all.
Leathersich with the go-ahead run at third comes in to face Ichiro Suzuki. And this is away for ball 1. Ichiro right now 124 hits shy of 3,000 in his major league career. Tack on another 1,200 plus in Japan. He has had himself a phenomenal career, and he slaps one foul.
It's a nice addition to a ball club.
For sure.
Your 4th outfielder.
4,154 if you count Japan. Passed Pete Rose before long. And he'll probably get to the Hall of Fame before Pete too.
Yeah, you will.
Gives away nothing against left-handers. D. Gordon would be next. Realmuto at third and 2 out. 1-2 to Ichiro. Just missed. 2-2.
Doesn't have the postseason pedigree, but the finest Japanese everyday player to play in the States by far, in my opinion.
Well, and he could do it all. Great fielder, great arm, great speed. 2-2. Strike 3 call. Leathersich gets Ichiro looking to end the inning. Big strikeout for Leathersich keeps the game tied as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Tom Warner Cable enjoy better. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Mets and Marlins tied up at 5, and our thoughts as always are with our recuperating partner Keith Hernandez, who is back home in Long Island. And I understand we have a new picture via satellite in from Sag Harbor.
Well, we're trying to make sure we see it every single day. He's got Mr. and Mrs. Met, and they don't trust it, so they have the masks on. And right there, isn't that where Jerry's asking him to help him move? Or?
But what I want to know was the mustache always there, or did we just pin that in at the last moment?
That is beautiful. I didn't know he was missing teeth. That must have happened during the surgery.
Very nice.
That was nice of Mr. and Mrs. Met to pay a visit. Very nice.
I'm glad to see Keith smiling. What happened to his tooth?
That is beautiful.
John Mayberry pinch hitting against the new Marlins pitcher Brian Morris as we start the bottom of the 6th.
The numbers for Brian Morris. Again, another pitcher that saw a lot of when he was in a Pittsburgh Pirate uniform. He's given up a lot of hits.
Interesting that it's Mayberry getting the call here. The Mets have one left-handed bat on their bench and Daryl Siciliani, but not using him here in the 6th inning. Going with the right-hand bat of Mayberry instead. Morris behind him 2-0. And way up and in. 3-0. Hanser Robles, next man up in the Mets bullpen. Ben Mazzaro for Miami, retired all 5 batters to face him in long relief. And now Morris behind his first batter, 3-0. And that's ball 4. So Morris did not come close. And the Mets get the leadoff man on yet again. That's 4 times in 6 innings they've had their first man on.
Leatherstitch comes in and strikes out Ichiro. Morris comes in. First batter he faces, he walks Mayberry.
Mike Dunn, the lone lefty in that Marlins bullpen, getting ready for Duda, who's 3 batters away. Here's Granderson, who hit the ball high off the wall in left center for what turned out to be a bases loaded single in the 4th inning, drove in a run. He was also hit by a pitch back in the 1st. Mayberry at first and nobody out. And Morris finally throws a strike. Ruben Tejada, who's had a big day today, waiting on deck.
Throws 4 balls, not even close. Curtis goes up there thinking to himself, okay, I got to make sure I get a strike. 2 balls perfect by Morris.
Now the 0-2. He comes a little further inside. 1-2. Granderson in his career 3 for 3 against Brian Morris.
Mayberry's got to be alive at first base because Morris has not thrown a breaking ball. Well, he's thrown 1, but it was in the dirt.
And Granderson tries to hold. They check at third. No swing, says Mark Carlson. And it's 2-2. And then you got the opposite shadow factor. You got pitcher in shade, hitter in sunlight. Just not an easy day. As 4 o'clock starts, do recap.
Foul off the toe of Granderson. I remember when I played, I don't remember the 4 o'clock game, Gary. There were the 7 o'clocks and the occasional 5:30 on the West Coast, 8 o'clock if you're on Howard Cosell and Monday Night Baseball.
Yeah, you get this more on the West Coast back in those days, but now it's become a regular thing on Saturdays for teams to play at 4. Granderson pulls a foul. More often than not, you'd think it would favor the pitchers, but that certainly has not been the case today.
Although as soon as the shadows came up after the 4th, we've had nothing happen so far.
Seventh pitch of the at bat coming from Morris to Granderson. And Curtis fouls it away. Brian Morris going with the stirrups.
It's called the Gil Martin.
Yeah. It's just you see it so rarely now. It stands out.
I honestly used to wear my uniform like that, except for I didn't hike up the pants. I would have the pants low, but would have the socks exactly like that.
Granderson putting together a terrific at bat here. Works it full after falling behind 0-2.
I don't think you can run here with the shadows Granderson up. He struck out a lot. Although Morrison is slow to the plate, and Mets have been aggressive all day long.
Ninth pitch coming to Granderson. Not going, and it's ball 4. And the Mets have the first 2 men on, so Morris issues back-to-back walks to start the bottom of the 6th. And this one after getting ahead 0-2.
I think you got to bunt Tejada here. I mean, I know it's difficult. It probably takes Duda out of play. Here comes Chuck Hernandez, their pitching coach, to discuss the situation.
Well, Tejada's been on base 5 straight times going back to last night, and base hits his last 2 at-bats in last night's game. A single, a walk, and a 3-run double today. So he is playing like a little slugger this afternoon. He's having a long conversation with Tim Temple to discuss how they're going to play this.
I mean, I would never consider Tejada the kind of hitter where I go, boy, he's got the hot hand, let him roll. I would never think that. I would think, though, the conversation might be something like this. If you see them play the wheel, swing away. Playing the wheel, and also Prado was way in on Nice. If he is that aggressive, swing the bat.
Mayberry at second, Granderson at first, nobody out. The Marlins certainly expecting the bunt from Tejada.
Tough guy to bunt, though. He's had 3 or 4 strikes, and the rest have been all over the place.
Well, that's the other piece. You know, Ruben's got a very good eye at the plate. You might want to trust him to watch the first couple and see what he's got. You got Duda looming on deck. It's the downside of bunting is going to take the bat out of Duda's hands. They played the defense straight up, and Tejada squares and bunts it foul.
Almost plays it for the Mets' hands. If Tejada can get this down, does Jennings, with this inexperience, bring in Dunn to face Duda, who is killing left-handed pitchers?
Steve Turd leads the bunt on here with 1 strike. Again, they play it conventionally, and Morris misses away with a fastball, 1-1.
Good eye by Tejada. Bat out there. Strikey was going to bunt. He pulled it back. Count even. Collins says it all the time. We know he's got it in him. Whether he can produce it or not. And I'm talking about Tejada.
Now they creep in a little tighter. And he misses on the bunt attempt. And it's 1-2. Realmuto had a mind to throw to second base. Often when you bunt through a pitch like that runner at second can get hung out to dry.
Remember when Terry Collins was a coach in the Pittsburgh system, Jay Bell would routinely bunt out of that second slot. He was money. Not so much here for Tejada.
Like 38 sacrifices one year. He's not going to be bunting here, you wouldn't think, with 2 strikes. And he lays off the slider, and it's 2-2. I always sense how perturbed Terry is after a player fails to get a bunt down.
He doesn't even want to look that way. Look at the outfield defense. Ozuna's shallow. Williamsport-like in right field for Stanton.
Nobody out. First and second. 2-2 to Tejada. And Ruben grounds one toward the hole. Cut off by Prado. Gets the out from his knees. The relay is dropped at first by Baker. Mayberry will stay at third. Well, they would have had 2, but Baker dropped the relay. And I don't know if the sun had any factor in that, but the Mets get a break.
Boy, what a great play by Prado. Off his knees, gets rid of it, and Gordon pelts it. Can't be a better throw than this. That's just a miss. He's got the shades on. He's got everything you need.
Well, the axiom is you can't assume a double play, but on a play like this you can. And it's an error on the first baseman allowing Tejada to reach. And that's going to be all for Brian Morris. So with runners at first and third and one out and Lucas Duda coming up, Dan Jennings will bring in his only left-hander, Mike Dunn. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable 4G LTE network.
Watch Mayberry comes around at third base. Prado makes the play. He's got to take a look, and as soon as he sees that ball goes, he's got to think about it. But I think that was the prudent choice. He wasn't going to score on that.
So Baker, do you think the Sun had a role in that at all?
I don't. I think he's a guy that's always struggled defensively, and I think, to me, that he just missed it. But listen, the Sun's been a factor for everyone, so probably wrong on that one. Mike Dunn, fantastic arm, throws as hard as any left-hander out of the bullpen in baseball. Tough mark here for Lucas, but he's been great against lefties.
Duda has doubled and walked today. He's driven in a run. First and third, one out in a tie game, and Dunn gets the slider in for a strike. Lucas has done well against Dunn, 6 for 18 in his career. And of course, he's crushing all left-handers this year. Starts the day hitting .383 against lefties. Ball and a strike to Lucas. 2 walks, a fielder's choice, and an error. And the Mets have first and third and one out. Trying to gain the lead in this game for the first time since the first inning. They were up 1-0. They were down 5-1, then scored 4 runs in the fourth against Tom Koehler to tie it up. It's been tied ever since. Dunn, the 4th Miami pitcher of the day. And Duda has a good swing at a fastball and fouls it back, 1-2. Mayberry carrying the go-ahead run at third. Tejada at first. Duda has hit 6 home runs in his last 7 games. The most powerful 7-game span of his career. Now he goes down swinging on the high fastball, and that's the second out of the inning.
Well, it almost seems like the perfect pitch to try to lift. Just too much on it by Mike Dunn. I told you, he's got a great arm. And every game that the Mets face the Marlins, it almost seems like Dunn plays a big part.
Well, the Mets have seen so much of Dunn over the years. Yankees, Braves, Marlins. Just turned 30 years old. And now Murphy will get a crack at him. Murph 0 for 2 and a walk. Has hit 2 fly balls to center field today. And Dunn just misses with a slider. Murphy's also got good career numbers against Dunn, 5 for 16. So he's hitting over 300 against him. Michael Koehler would be next. Steve Cishek, the former closer for the Marlins, up in the 6th inning. Marlins are carrying an extra relief pitcher, by the way. They have an 8-man bullpen. Already on their 3rd reliever, working the 6th inning. Now Dunn behind on Murphy, 2-0. And Murph hits a broken bat to short. Solano's overhand throw. Baker catches it, and that retires the side. And the Mets strand 2 in the bottom of the 6th. On to the 7th we go. Still tied at 5. Tomorrow afternoon, and then it's off to the west for the first time. That's a play 3 in San Diego starting on Monday night, then 4 in Arizona before returning home to play the Giants a week from Tuesday. That's where up 1-0, down 5-1, got even. Both teams bypassing opportunities in the 6th inning. And now the Mets move a little deeper into their bullpen and bring Hansel Robles in to pitch in the 7th.
Well, Robles has been very good since he's been up. His ERA a little high right now, but I like the 10 strikeouts and 9 1/3 innings of work. His slider's his whole key, I think. If he's got control over that in an inning, he can be dominant.
Had a rough last outing, gave up a couple of hits and a couple of runs. Ben Revere hit a long triple, and Freddie Galvis strove in a run with a base hit. And that was the end of Robles' outing, trying to bounce back here this afternoon. They'll face the top of the batting order. D. Gordon, Martin Prado, and Giancarlo Stanton the assignment here in the 7th.
Have to take the bunt away if you're Tejada.
And Gordon bluffing at the bunt with Tejada playing in. Now it's Torres staying busy in the Mets bullpen. With Matt Harvey having gone 8 last night, the bullpen is very rested. That's lined the other way, and Gordon's got a leadoff hit. So now it becomes more complicated with the speed of Gordon at first base. His 2nd hit of the day and his 76th of the year.
Yeah, this kind of smells like last night, doesn't it? Gordon wreaking havoc at first base. Doesn't take too much. Robles with the fastball away. Just dumps it into left field. It's almost pulls the third baseman in with the threat of the bunt and then hits it by him.
So now you got Prado, and Marlins can do pretty much anything they want here. Prado, a terrific hit and run guy. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Gordon 20 steals to lead the National League. Also leads in getting caught stealing. He's been caught 7 times.
Robles should have a decent move because he used to be a starter. Very interesting. Duda just told Robles, throw the ball low. The sun is right in my eyes. I cannot see it.
We saw Baker drop that throw in the last half. It's almost like Coors Field in the early evening, you know, where the sun sets in the left field corner, but the sun is prominent under the second deck in left field. It's peeking through right at the first baseman. Up and into Prado, ball one.
My first year, I was in Rochester. There's the sun coming through the light standards. And Rochester was famous for that. The third baseman would bounce the throw to first base in the first couple of innings.
Prado bounces one, and it's too tall for Tejada, and down the line. Gordon racing for third. He'll be held up there. It's a bouncing double for Martin Prado, and the Marlins have second and third and nobody out.
Where's Tejada playing? Playing in on the grass, and he had to go back on that ball and never could get high enough to get it. Interesting defensive placement against Prado, a guy that I don't think he's going to bunt with D. Gordon on first base. And then Gordon, when he turns it on, boy, is he fun to watch.
Harris almost had to throw a rope around him to stop him. So now it's Stanton. First base is open, but as we said before, teams do not intentionally walk Stanton. They think they can strike him out. Robles will try and do that. And there's strike one. Stanton, a home run to right center back in the third, and a bullet line drive to third base his last time up. And Robles really up against it. He's now given up hits to the last four batters he's faced. Second and third and nobody out, and the Marlins trying to regain the lead. Fastball runs inside 1-1. Mets are playing the infield back, so they'll concede the go-ahead run on a ground ball. Jeff Baker hitting the cleanup spot on deck. Pops upstairs at 98, 2-1. Things have been going very smoothly for Hansel Robles until these last couple of outings. And he's got a huge out to get right now. And he misses away to Stanton at 100 miles an hour, 3-1. Well, a walk would fill the bases, and you'd have to think that Dan Jennings would go to Justin Bour against the right-hander. They do have Alex Torres up in the bullpen, but Torres not a guy who gets lefties out. First it's Robles against Stanton.
A lot of shakes. Usually means the fastball.
And he misses high, ball four. So now the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Well, Tejada did a nice job, considering he's playing on the grass, to get back over the bag, and the ball just brushes the top of his glove.
That set up the inning. Now the bases are loaded with nobody out, and it will be Baker to stay in and face the right-hander. Baker 0 for 3 today. That's at the infield at double play depth, so again they'll concede a run to try and turn two. Robles overpowers Baker with the first fastball.
Bour's got a bat here. After last night, I mean, come on.
The problem that Dan Jennings has is with Echeverria hurt and a four-man bench, basically Bour's his last guy, and it's the seventh inning. Oh, and 2. Gordon is at third, carrying the go-ahead run. Prado at second, Stanton at first, and nobody out. Robles trying to fight his way back. Ahead 0-2 on Baker. Struck him out. 3 fastballs, sit down, 1 out.
Just an overmatch there. Right-hander against right-hander. Baker does not face right-handers. He's in a platoon-type situation. He's in there to face lefties. They do not go to bore. Overmatched.
So now 1 out, and Marcell Ozuna stepping in. Ozuna doubled and scored in the second. He's grounded out twice since. And Robles gets a strike with the fastball. Well, he pitched carefully to Stanton and walked him, but he's come right after these next 2 hitters. 4 straight strikes, all with fastballs. Christian Yelich on deck. And Ozuna takes a rip, and it's 0-2. I mean, he is really bringing it.
What you want to see from your relief pitcher, especially late in the game. Do they man up when everything's on the line?
He could use another strikeout. Foul pop-up. Duda near the dugout. He has room, and he makes the catch. Gordon comes halfway down the line and goes back. And that's the second out. Well, the wind kept that ball in play. It was headed toward the stands. But the Mets get the benefit of the conditions there, and Ozuna's retired.
Even better by Duda to stay on this ball, make the play, and get the ball in quickly. Don't even let Gordon think that he can take advantage. See a lot of first basemen just happy to catch that ball, and Gordon goes back, and he's going to push it until the first baseman gets it in. And once he does, he has to retreat.
So now Robles 2/3 of the way home. He's now got to face the left-hand batter, Christian Yelich. And he gets ahead of him with a fastball. Yelich 1 for 3 today, singled and scored back in the 4th. A single, a double, and a walk, loaded the bases with nobody out. A strikeout and a foul pop-up have gotten Robles 2 outs. To Yelich.
Yelich has got to be thinking middle plate away, trying to hit the ball to left field. Koehler playing very shallow in left, considering what happened to Yelich on the Granderson ball.
1-1. Line right center, falling fast, base hit. And the Marlins regain the lead. It gets behind Granderson. Gordon and Prado score. Stanton will be held at third. In at second is Yelich, and it's 7-5 Miami. So Christian Yelich, after Robles had retired the 2 right-hand batters, drives in a pair.
A little backdoor slider that he hits off the end of the bat. Granderson comes in, and the ball takes a little funny hop, doesn't even come close as he makes an error on that ball. And I was really surprised that Lenny Harris does not send in Stanton. Ball gets by him. Lenny Harris holds him. The ball goes into second base.
It's a single, 2 RBIs, an error on Granderson, moving Yelich to second. And now JT Realmuto grounds one off his foot, a foul ball.
You can see it. The same ball that he hit the left field off the end of the bat. Well, this one also, but he's able to pull it just over into right center field for the big base hit.
Well, a disappointment for Robles, who was 2/3 of the way there, but couldn't seal the deal. Now the Mets are down 2, and 2 more in scoring position for Realmuto, who had a 2-run homer in the 4th and a fly ball double in the 6th. Nothing at 2. 0-2 from Robles. Struck him out to end the inning, but not before the Marlins go back in front. Christian Yelich with the 2-out hit drives in a pair. 7th inning stretch time at Citi Field. 7-5 Miami. Hey, you never know. It's the best way to start your weekday. Join Suki, Corey, and the gang from 5 to 9 on the Pix 11 Morning News, where every story hits home. Beautiful out by the reservoir.
I'm laughing because I can't say it. I'll tell you later.
Hard throwing Carter Capps will work the bottom of the 7th as I work on Ronnie to reveal the mystery.
Carter Capps is their hard thrower. This guy can throw close to 100 miles an hour. Good breaking ball so far. His record has been impeccable.
He was the player the Marlins got from the Mariners when they traded Logan Morrison a couple of winters ago. So now the Mets have to try and fight back again. Michael Koehler leads off the home 7th and takes the fastball upstairs.
He has a little bit of that Jordan Walden, that little delay and the jump off the mound before he delivers the baseball.
Koehler 0 for 3 today, lined out to right his last trip, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
He steps almost a foot in front of the mound before he lets the baseball go. Should not be, I mean, it's against the rules, personally, I believe.
Hit toward the hole, a base hit for Koehler. So he hooks the breaking ball into left, and the Mets will get the tying run to the plate here in the 7th.
Well, Koehler in the middle of the lineup. We talked about it today. Everyone's hot. And a flat breaking ball. He hooks to left field. Watch Capps' feet. All right. He jumps up, delays. Then the foot comes in. Then he pushes off. I mean, come on.
You're supposed to throw from 60 feet 6 inches, not from 58 feet.
If I knew that wasn't a rule, I would have done it myself personally.
Here's Wilmer Flores. And he grounds one to his right. Solano out at second. Gordon gets wiped out, throws the ball off the dugout fence, and Flores will have to stay at first. Good hard slide by Koehler to really disrupt Gordon at second base.
Well, it was a silly play by Gordon anyways. There's no chance he's going to get Flores. Just get out of dodge when you catch that ball. So valuable to this team. Don't stay in there, especially against Koehler. Of all the Mets players, no one takes out second basemen as well as he does. I mean, he slide late, get in, do the roll. That's just Gordon's fault for even thinking of turning that.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Juan Lagares 1 for 3 on the day. Flores at first and 1 out. And he takes a fastball for a strike at 99 miles an hour.
Hardest throw in baseball, Gary, from 60 feet. Not to 6 inches. From 60 feet.
Just make up the rules as we go along. Yeah, Lagares bailing out on that slider out of the strike zone. 1-1. And it's all about creating deception, right?
He has it in spades. Throws hard. When he's got his breaking ball, he's almost unhittable.
And again, Lagares stepping in the bucket, and it's 1-2.
He's not feeling comfortable up there. Never seen Lagares step in the bucket.
Kevin Plawecki waits on deck. Cap steps off. Cap's 24 years old out of Mount Olive College in North Carolina. And Lagares down to the high heat for the second out. First strikeout for Caps.
All the times I've been watching Lagares hit for the Mets, his first at bat I've ever seen him where he had no chance in that at bat.
So 2 out. Flores still at first, and now Plawecki, who's 1 for 3 on the day, singled back in the second inning. Fastball in for a strike. Caps, and it's almost like he's falling downhill as he starts to deliver the ball.
And he hides that ball right behind his kind of backside or right leg, so you don't see it for a while.
They just called him up 10 days ago when they put a couple of pitchers on the disabled list. He's been unable to stick around in the major leagues.
Well, injuries have played a big factor in his career also.
Just his 6th game for the Marlins this year. And the slider off the plate 1-2.
Watch what he does with his hand, because we were concentrating on his foot before. Watch what he does with his right hand. Easy motion, stays closed. See what that ball is? In the jump? You never see it until he's got the longest stride of anyone in the game.
He almost strides off the mound.
Yeah.
Strikes out Plawecki with a slider. Back-to-back strikeouts for Caps to get him through the 7th. On to the 8th we go. 7-5 Miami. Royal Caribbean. Steven Strasburg placed on the DL. His manager Matt Williams says he's perplexed. Paul Goldschmidt, another big day for the Diamondbacks. 3 for 4, couple of home runs. D-backs up 7-2 going to the 8th in Milwaukee. And Nolan Arenado, another big day for the Rockies. He has had one of the Rockies' 3 home runs off Aaron Harang in their 5-2 win over the Phillies. We're going to the 8th inning. This has been a very shot-filled ball game. Well, the Mets are going to make a double switch, and I don't think we've seen this before. Juan Lagares is coming out of the game. Daryl Siciliani will play center, and bat 9th, Alex Torres will pitch.
Yeah, you see the numbers, but that's very unusual. I said that in that bat. At bat, I haven't seen Lagares ever overmatched in that bat. You're wondering if he's has stiffened up this afternoon, and that's why Siciliani's in the game.
Donovan Solano leads off for the Marlins. Well, we mentioned the Marlins' short bench, and last night's starting pitcher Dan Herron is now out on deck to pinch hit. So Justin Bour is still available as a left-hand batter, but they're not going to use him against Torres. They've got the backup catcher Jonathan Solano, Donovan's brother, and Echeverria, who's hurt.
Well, they're hoping Solano can get on so Herron can lay down a bunt. Best bunter on the ball club. Herron can handle the bat. He's got a couple home runs in his career.
Lifetime 207 hitter. Had a hit last night. Had a sacrifice. Had himself quite a game last night, throwing 85 miles an hour with his fastball. Matched up against Matt Harvey, who was throwing 98, and he had the better of it.
Yeah.
Alex Torres, the 5th Met pitcher of the afternoon. Hansel Robles gave up a couple of runs in the 7th, and he's on the hook now. And it's Christian Yelich's base hit, untied it. 1-2 to Solano. Alex has not pitched since Tuesday night, when he gave up a hit and got an out against the Phillies. Right at Flores, comes up for him nicely, and he throws out Solano, one away. So now Dan Herron will be the pinch hitter. Herron has 8 career pinch hit plate appearances. He's 1 for 3 with 2 sacrifice bunts, a sacrifice fly, and 2 walks. So he's been very successful as a pinch hitter.
He's the Lenny Harris of their team.
Well, don't be surprised if before too terribly long we see Noah Syndergaard used as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, he's going to be used at some point.
Keep your spikes on, Mel. All right, Torres gets ahead 0-2. D. Gordon is the on-deck batter. Jumping away. 1-2. Wait a second. He's pitching me like I'm a pinch hitter, not like I'm a pitcher.
He wasn't expecting that slider on his kneecaps.
Now the 1-2. Struck him out with a changeup. So Alex Torres fans Dan Herron. Now 1 for 4 in his career as a pinch hitter.
Well, let's watch the traditional versus non-traditional. That's Carter Capps, where his foot is and his front foot when he releases the ball. He is a foot past where everyone else lands. And Torres, traditional way, I mean, he's got another 3 feet to go before he gets to the grass. It's definitely an advantage. I guess if you're not going to call it out on him, why not do it?
Where does that end? You know, how much can you get away with at the end of the day?
It's not obvious enough yet because there's only a half dozen guys that do it. Jordan Walden and Carter Capps being the most obvious since we've seen them the most. But it'll be like the sunscreen. Once it becomes more and more evident, they'll try to put a slam down on it. You know, the sunscreen.
Yeah, the sunscreen, the rosin, the whole thing.
Getting the tacky. Not to protect yourself from the sun, you know, to get a little tackiness on the baseball.
Well, it's already led to a couple of suspensions over the last 2 weeks. Slowly hit. Murph's got a charge with Gordon running and throws him out. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Alex Torres. Mets will have 9-1-2 in the order coming up in the bottom of the 8th, trailing 7-5. Now at your Honda dealer, Christian Yelich dumping a base hit into right field, driving in a pair, and putting the Marlins up 7-5. And that's where we stand as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Sam Dyson, who worked the 8th inning last night, will get the 8th inning again today.
He's a guy that usually just throws his fastball. He has incredible movement, throws 95 plus, great sinking action, and then he'll just use that pitch primarily.
Pitched a 1-2-3 inning yesterday, getting Plawecki, Siciliani, and Granderson. He'll get 2 of the same 3 hitters. Daryl Siciliani, who just came in on a double switch, will lead off in the bottom of the 8th, then Granderson and Tejada. And if anybody gets on, then Lucas Duda. Mets down 7-5 as they bat in the 8th, and Siciliani takes an off-speed pitch outside, so he changed the program.
You're starting to see this, though, aren't you, Gary? If you can, if you have the talented enough person, you want that crossover pitcher pitch in the 8th. You don't have to worry about using 4 pitchers to get 3 outs because you need the left-hander in there. Dyson can get both left-handers and right-handers out.
And in the case of the Marlins, they don't have a choice since they only have 1 lefty in their bullpen. They already spent Mike Dunn, who stands to be the winning pitcher in this game if this lead stands up. Dunn got 2 outs in the 6th. Siciliani fights one off, and it's 2-1. The in-game box score brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Ruben Tejada, terrific day, a 3-run double. Lucas Duda had a run-scoring double in the first. Mets, though, have squandered various opportunities and left 9 runners on base over the first 7 innings. Two and 1 to Siciliani with Granderson on deck. And that's a strike on the inside, 2-2.
The first inning for the Mets really hurt, didn't it? Only scored 1 with the bases loaded with nobody out.
And then in the 6th inning, they had first 2 men on. Got the help of an error. Couldn't score in that inning. Slapped down to third. Prado has it go right under the glove. Boy, how often do you see that? Martin Prado just lift the curtain too soon, and Siciliani is on.
Well, you don't see it happen to Prado. He made a huge mistake. Tried to side saddle this ball, scoot over and play it in front of you, so when it takes the bad hop, it goes up against your core and you can just play it to first. He tried to, well, he didn't try. He olayed it, and that's what happens.
Haven't played perfectly, but commits his 3rd error of the year, and that opens the door for the Mets, tying run at the plate with Granderson. Each team has now made 2 errors today. And Granderson yanks one foul. Curtis has swung the bat well today. He's been on base 3 times. He got drilled by Tom Koehler's 2nd pitch of the day and came around to score in the 1st. Singled in a run in the 4th. The ball hit high off the wall in left field. And then walked his last time up in a 9-pitch marathon against Brian Morris. And Dyson misses outside, 1-1. Ruben Tejada waits on deck. That catches the corner. Granderson didn't think so, and it's 1-2.
That's a tough call there. You have the catcher sitting in the middle of the plate, had to reach all the way across his body and got the call from Demiro. I'm not saying it's not a strike. It's a pitch that usually isn't called a strike, though.
So now Dyson ahead of the count. And Granderson taps one slowly. Dyson makes the play with a little push shot to first base. And they get the out as Siciliani moves up to second.
I think he was thinking of tagging Granderson at 1 second and then altered plans. And like you said, kind of shot putted that to first.
Hardest thing for a pitcher to do, throw the ball to a base.
I never found it, but I guess it is.
These days. So here's Tejada. 2 for 3. Last time up, reached on a fielder's choice and an error. He's got Siciliani at second with 1 out, and Lucas Duda waiting on deck. So you know Tejada's going to get something to hit here. 4 hits in his last 5 at bats. And Ruben watches a fastball for a strike. So Tejada, who started yesterday's game hitting 200, it's up to 250. Climbs fast when you're a backup player.
Well, Terry Collins wants him to take hold of that third base job. He doesn't want the tryout camp every day out there.
Ruben started the day with 4 RBIs. He got 3 with 1 swing back in the 4th. And he takes a big rip, and it's 0-2. And you know, with Tejada, it's always less is more, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes when he has a hit like he did earlier in the game, then he gets a little too big and gets away from his game. Terry Collins said the base that he got up in the middle in the 9th inning last night, that was Ruben Tejada.
On the breaking ball from Ramos.
Hits it about 2 inches, but it stays foul. Well, in Houston this afternoon, Dallas Keuchel bounced back. Remember, he had a bad start for the Astros. Complete game 4 hitter against the White Sox. 3-0 win. 7-1. Talk about the best pitcher nobody knows about.
Well, and if you watch him pitch, he'll never be in the strikeouts or any of that. He's a sinker ball pitcher, sinker slider, tons of ground balls.
Astros are now 31-19. To Tejada, and it's up and away. Marlins have used 6 pitchers today. Their starter Tom Koehler knocked out in the 4th. Mazzaro, Morris, Dunn, and Capps have combined to shut the Mets out ever since. Dan Jennings, 11 games deep into his managerial career, and has had to make a lot of moves in this game, including using a pitcher as a pinch hitter. 1-2 to Tejada. Up the middle. Gordon with a nice sit spin to get it and throws him out. That's a terrific play by Gordon for the second out. And over to third, Siciliano.
Defense, speed. We always talk about speed on offense. How about speed on defense? Had to go through the pitcher. Ball went through the umpire. Still Gordon with the concentration to get it, take his time, and make the throw. That was pretty.
So now it's Duda. Dan Jennings on his way out to the mound. And he's going to take the ball from Dyson, who does not want to give it up. And A.J. Ramos is going to come in and try and get a 4-out save today. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable 4G LTE network. 7-5 Miami in the 8th. We'll be right back. Well, he's been the Mets' best hitter all season, and over the last week the power has begun to come. And now he's up in a big spot in the 8th inning, tying run at the plate with the Mets down 7-5. And he'll face A.J. Ramos, who picked up a save last night, and is going to be asked to go an extra mile today.
Well, the numbers bear manager Jennings out. 0 for 8 Duda against Ramos.
Got him last night, struck him out in the 9th inning. Siciliani at third and 2 out. And Lucas takes inside for ball 1. Duda today 1 for 3, drove in a run with a double back in the first inning. He's also drawn a walk. Terry's Familia getting up in the Mets bullpen. Duda fouls it back. Ramos took over the closer's role just recently when Steve Cishek was finally deposed after a very rough first 6 weeks. And Ramos has converted all 3 save opportunities since taking over the job.
Well, what makes him so difficult? He's got 3 quality pitches to get you out. He throws 95 plus, great changeup, and a good curveball.
1-1 to Duda. And Lucas watches the fastball away. 2-1. Marlins have now used 7 pitchers this afternoon. So Dan Jennings pulling out all the stops, going to his closer in the 8th inning. Duda bounces it foul, and now it's 2-2.
It's the breaking ball. Every time he gets behind you, he goes with a changeup or the breaking ball.
Duda's never had a hit against Ramos, looking to break through here in the 8th. Stays alive.
You know, for Lucas being a home run hitter, it's intoxicating to think about one thing: how do I tie this game up? But that shouldn't be his thought. He's so strong. Even if he hits the ball not completely, he can hit it out of here. Key is he wants to get him closer, at least a base hit. Put the ball in play.
The way the ball's flying to left center, maybe that would be enough. Breaks his bat, bloops one shallow center. Ozuna coming on to slide and make the catch. And so Duda comes up short against Ramos again. Broke his bat. Ozuna makes a nice play, and the Mets are turned aside after an error in the 8th inning. A lot of speed in that Marlins outfield, and Ozuna makes the play. That sends us to the 9th with the Marlins still up 7-5. All Givens. Ninth inning, Alex Torres stays in to face Martin Prado, who's 2 for 4 today, a single and a double. Marlins able to survive Prado's error in the bottom of the 8th inning. Mets have now left 10 runners on base with 3 outs to play. Mets in danger of dropping 2 in a row to a team that had lost 14 of 17 coming into the series. Giancarlo Stanton on deck.
Did you notice, Gary, that Torres seems to throw a little better the more work he gets? To me, that seems to be the play. When he gets 2 or 3 days off, it's hard for him to find a strike zone.
Torres, the 5th Met pitcher of the day, after John Neese lasted just 4 innings. That'll be a storyline coming out of this game. Neese's 4th straight poor start. First time in his career he's had 4 straight starts where he's given up 4 or more earned runs. Today he got hit early and often, gave up home runs to Stanton and Realmuto. Prado drives one to deep left field. Koehler back, and that one's at the base of the fence. Prado racing for second, and the throw coming in, and he's out! What a throw by Michael Koehler! And Prado is gunned down.
Koehler with a punch out. Beautifully, he plays it right off the wall, gets it, crow hops, and makes the 1-hop throw. Oh, not 1-hop throw, forget about it. All the way in there. Nice play by Murph to stay with him, because he tries to take that left hand away and put the right hand there, and Murph just stayed with him.
Second outfield assist of the year for Koehler, so 1 out and Stanton at the plate.
It's easy to just throw it down there and search for that left hand, but he didn't. Murph stayed with him. Outstanding. Great throw by Koehler.
It's 2 errors by Prado in 1 inning. First in the field, now on the bases.
No mask for Mr. Stanton.
Doesn't wear the mask against the lefties, only wears it against the right-handers.
Doesn't wear the mask against the lefty who wears the hat.
Only one guy can have protection.
Oh, that's drilled. Forget that. That is way out of here. Almost to the upper deck. Oh, my. Giancarlo Stanton with his second home run of the game into rarely visited territory. His 15th of the year, and now it's 8-5. Sometimes you watch him and you just cannot believe that he is that strong.
I mean, if they had another league, I mean, if this is the last league, so he's got to play here. If there was another league higher than this, he would have been moved up already. Makes it look so easy. Compact swing for such a big man.
Ball just came out of the stand, stopping play. Well, if he had hit the ball a little bit higher, he might have made it to the upper deck, which has never happened in a regular season game here. It happened in the home run derby.
Who would catch a ball there and throw it back? A Stanton home run, nonetheless. Oh.
That was just crushed. Fly ball to deep center off the bat of Baker. Back goes Siciliani near the wall, and that's out of here. Back-to-back home runs for Stanton and Baker. Baker's first of the year. And now it's 9-5 Miami. And the wheels have completely come off.
Well, we mentioned it before on the Granderson hit that eluded Yelich, that the ball seemed to be carrying to left field and left center. And Baker's ball really just carried out of here. That's an F8 usually. Not today. In for left-handed pitching. Baker was overpowered by the righty Robles, not overpowered by Torres.
Well, maybe not the distance of the Stanton home run, but it counts for the same number of runs. 1. 4 home runs today for the Marlins. Stanton had just finished celebrating his home run, turned around, and there was another one leaving the park. So Torres gives up home runs on back-to-back pitches. And the Mets now down by 4 in a game for the second time. TNT. Just explosive. That's pulled down to third. Tejada handles it and throws out Ozuna for the second out. Well, Alex Torres pitched a very effective 8th inning, and he gave up 3 balls in a row to Prado, Stanton, and Baker that were just crushed. Second time this year the Mets have given up 4 home runs in a game. They gave up 4 to the Phillies in a game back in April. Here's Yelich, who put the Marlins in front of this game with a 2-run hit in the 7th. 2 for 4 on the day. And he gets one up in the air to right center field. This one should be playable for Siciliani. And that retires the side. But back-to-back homers by Stanton and Baker. That has Alex Torres screaming at himself. We go to the bottom of the 9th, 9-5 Miami.
ChooseNissan.com. 4 home runs for Miami today, including a pair of laser beams off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton, who is the king of exit velocity. Now has 15 home runs for the year. Still fun to put stickers on Dad, though. That never loses its ability to thrill and delight.
See, I never had little girls, so you got to take it, right? When they're putting the stickers on.
Now, are you saying that your boys never put stickers on you?
I wouldn't know that. I'm kidding.
Here's Daniel Murphy leading off in the last of the ninth and takes a strike from A.J. Ramos. Well, Ramos was brought in to try and get a 4-out save. He got the first one with a 2-run lead. He can get the next 3 with a little more of a cushion. Murphy's 8-game hitting streak on the line, 0 for 3 with a walk today. Now the Marlins have used 7 pitchers. They used another one as a pinch hitter. And they're 3 outs away from their 2nd straight win. 2-1 to Murphy with Koehler and Flores to follow. Pitcher spot due up 4th in the inning. The Mets still have Campbell and Recker left on the bench. Mets have been out hit 14-8, but the Mets have had plenty of chances in this game. They've left 10 runners on base. And if you go back to the first inning, that was probably the most painful. The Mets had a run in, bases loaded, nobody out, and did not score any further. But they fell behind 5-1 in the game, came back to tie it with 4 in the 4th. But they've been stymied ever since by the Miami bullpen. The Mets have had only 1 hit against the Miami pen since that 4th inning. And Murphy strikes out on the changeup, and Ramos has his first strikeout. 1 out of the 9th. So now Michael Koehler, 1 for 4 on the day, led off the 7th with a base hit.
Tells you a lot about the game, doesn't it, Gary? That you have a team come in, a couple of wheels are kind of wobbly. They haven't played well. You got a new manager that everyone's just trying to figure out if he belongs in a uniform, and they come in here and play 2 fine games so far.
Hardly flawless, but good enough.
Well, I mean, this game right here, you can look back on it. I mean, you can't make any more moves than Jennings made today.
And some of them might not have been the right moves, but they've worked out. 2-0 to Koehler. At the end of the day, all they ask is whether you scored more runs than the other team. And if you have Stanton on your side, that helps. I mean, he's scary. The 2 balls he hit today were hit so phenomenally hard. The one to right center and then halfway up the second deck and left.
Well, he's so used to playing in that big yard in Miami that he probably comes here to Citi Field and considers this a smallish park compared to the one he plays in Miami.
It's fair.
Right?
There it's 418 to center field. He had one off the side of the home run sculpture that was probably about 420 when you consider the height that he didn't get a home run on.
I don't think he even thinks of the ballpark. All he thinks of at some point is centering the baseball. If it goes in the air, you know, I think of all the home run hitters you see, he's the one that hits line drives out of the ballpark.
Popped up. Baker has plenty of room, and that's the 2nd out. So the Mets are down to their final out of the afternoon. And Wilmer Flores coming up. Flores 1 for 4 on the day. Well, barring an enormous comeback here, the Mets will be banking on Bartolo Colon tomorrow afternoon to try and salvage the finale of this series. They'll be going up against David Phelps before the Mets head out west. About the only good news for the Mets on this afternoon is that the Nationals looks like they may lose in Cincinnati for the 2nd straight day. They're down 8-5 going to the 9th. That's lined into center, and Flores keeps the Mets alive with a 2-out hit. 2nd hit of the afternoon for Flores, and that'll get Eric Campbell to the plate as a pinch hitter.
Well, fastball up and just going the other way with the baseball is Wilmer.
So now Campbell, who has been relegated to the bench through a persistent batting slump. Campbell 0 for his last 22. Ramos trying to finish it off for the Marlins. Flores not being held on. And Campbell takes outside for ball 1. Tomorrow afternoon, the final game of the series, right back here on Pix 11. Bartolo Colon against David Phelps. 1 o'clock game tomorrow here at Citi Field. Flores runs and Campbell fouls it back 1-1.
Now, if you're the manager Jennings, I'm looking at, boy, threw all my chips in and went all in with Ramos here, getting 4 outs. He's got to be off the shelf for me tomorrow.
After pitching last night and going an inning and a third today.
Off the shelf.
Yeah. Flores goes. It's a call strike to Campbell. Flores takes second on defensive indifference, but the Mets are down to their final out of the game.
Not even 2 signs. Just gives 1 sign with the Met on second.
And Campbell goes down swinging to end it. Ramos picks up the 4-out save. The Marlins hit 4 home runs, including 2 off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton. And Miami's taken the first 2 games of the series as they outscore the Mets today 9-5.
Well, the most disturbing thing, I think, to start with for the Mets was Jonathan Neese continued to have his struggles. Only went 4 innings, gave up 5 runs, 4 earned. The Mets had a chance to really put a stamp on this game in the first inning with the bases loaded and none out. They're only able to get 1 run in. They showed a lot of fighting coming back, but it was all Marlins after that.
Mets left 11 runners on base, had plenty of chances in this game, but managed just 2 hits against the Marlins bullpen after they knocked Tom Koehler, the starter, out in the 4th inning. And Ramos does extra lifting today and picking up his 4th save since taking over the job.
Well, I think since Dan Jennings got the job as manager of the Marlins, you see the smile on his face. Tonight, the steak and the red wine will taste the best it has as a manager of this ball club.
Marlins had 4 home runs in the game, but the biggest hit came after Hansel Robles got himself 2/3 of the way out of a bases-loaded jam in the 7th. But Christian Yelich came through with a 2-run single that put the Marlins in front, and they never looked back from there as Miami wins it 9-5. Let's go downstairs to Steve Gelb. Steve?
All right, Gary, here with Christian Yelich, who had the big game-winning double. Christian, 7-game hitting streak now for you. It's been a struggle here early part of the season. You starting to feel like it's coming along, though?
Yeah, it's a long year. We're not even a third of the way done, halfway done. We got a long way to go, and it's just about grinding it out, and that's what we're doing.
On that at bat against Hansel Robles, take us through what you were seeing. He had loaded the bases and he got the next 2 guys out. So what was your mindset going into that at bat?
I mean, he throws really hard, so you got to be ready for his fastball, and it just happened that he hung a slider and was able to kind of just put the bat on it and found the hole out there.
Christian, are you guys as in awe of Giancarlo Stanton sometimes as the rest of us are?
Well, we're kind of used to it. We see it every single day in batting practice, but it never really gets old watching someone hit a ball that far because he might be the only guy who can do that in the game right now, which is pretty special.
The way this stretch of games has gone for you guys recently, how important was it to come in here, beat Matt Harvey yesterday, and then win another tough one today?
Yeah, the Mets, they play us tough, especially in this ballpark. We haven't had a lot of success over the last few years, and it's good to come in and get the first 2, and we got to finish it off tomorrow.
Was this a game that, especially given the way this season has started, could have really turned the other way when you guys blow a 5-1 lead?
Absolutely. It's a credit to our guys for buckling down and kind of just saying, hey, we're not going to give them any more, and we're going to find a way to win this game, and it's a big win for us.
Christian, appreciate the time. Good luck. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Gary?
All right, Steve. Christian Yelich with the go-ahead hit for the Marlins in that 7th inning. As you check out the game summary, brought to you by the first ever Lexus NX Turbo Go Beyond Utility.
He's one of the great young players in the game. He'll get it figured out by the end of the year.
Just 23 years old with enormous talent. Mets fall to just 4 games over 500 as they lose 9-5 to the Marlins. More coming up from Citi Field in just a moment.